you're gonna second guess every time you try to fuck with us. So when people want to do all this shit, like Iran been wanting to nuke something, they've been wanting to nuke Israel and do all this shit. They always wanted to, but guess what? They just can't. They hesitate sending missiles. They warned us like 3 months in advance that they're about to send a missile over the border. And
Michael, you're overlooking the fact that Iran didn't see the bipartisan support from the Democrat Party. And it's really the Democrat Party, in my opinion, which is waging this war that has killed 100,000 people in Iran. And we've lost a dozen and have had hundreds of injuries. Let's be honest here. The Democrat Party is a bloodthirsty regime change party with legacy politicians like Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. And Bill Clinton is in the Epstein files. He's absolutely a pedophile. And we know Barack Hussein Obama is a CIA agent. We live in Truman world. And unfortunately, the CIA gets almost $100 billion a year of your debt to spend on your security. Who here is sick of clown world security? Hello?
hello? Wow.
So what do you all think about Trump's quote from his speech? He said, I want to thank our allies in the Middle East, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, Kuwait, and Bahrain. And he said, they've been great and will not let them get hurt or fail in any way, shape, or form. Are they, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, Kuwait, Bahrain, are these our allies?
Yes, of course there are. Bahrain, by the way, is how you say it, but they're absolutely our allies.
We were also allies with China for
They're in
Can I answer Bima? Can I answer Bima, please? Bahrain. I mean, I just was there.
Rain.
Bahrain. We have bases there. We have bases in these countries, and they are allies of ours.
Yeah, we were also allies with China at one point.
But we're allies with Saudi. We're allies with the UAE. We're allies with Bahrain, if you want, however you want to say it.
But Baja would indicate that there's.
Well, I was just there. They say it that way. I'm not Arabic, but
It's Bahrain.
It's pronounced Bahrain.
Bahrain. Say it.
Bahrain. Yeah, like Bahrain.
No, Bahrain.
Right?
I give up.
I'm just because I'm looking at it and I
By the way, it's a beautiful country, and it's really an interesting place. Very multicultural there. So what was the other one? You had Saudi, Bahrain, UAE.
UAE, Kuwait.
Israel.
Yes, yeah, in Israel. We're allies with all of them. We have bases in Kuwait. Obviously, we protected Kuwait in the past. We've Qatar. So what? And Israel, we don't have a base, but it's an ally. So
Israel is our base in the Middle East.
But we don't have a military base there.
Israel is our military.
They are our base.
I was about to say we attacked through them.
Yeah, that's what
Well,
we did.
but we're doing it. I mean, we're partners with them in this war. But in
Ain't no
terms
real
of
partnership.
military bases, the other countries that you mentioned, we have military bases. Is that it on the countries you said?
Israel is our inland Diego Garcia.
Yeah, I love how Africa
Did he say any other country? Or was that it?
Nope, that was all of them.
Yeah, those are allies.
So can we talk about how we use Israel to try to control the Middle East?
No, we actually,
I love it.
like, I'm kind of over talking about Israel's Passover tonight. I'd like to talk about Pharaoh, and I'd like to ask you, like, do you find it interesting that he asked Jews to do the construction when we usually, like, sort of...
Let's talk about Barack Hussein Obama emptying the banks in Virginia, tens of billions of dollars.
Anyway, it's Passover. I'd like to not spend the night trashing Jews.
Abby, what do you think about Trump in his speech saying that Barack Hussein Obama raided the banks in Virginia, emptied them of every dollar they had? That means to me that maybe these banks don't have as much cash on hand as you might think they do.
Let's see, what was the quote? This was his quote about Obama. And then, very importantly, I'm sorry. And then, very importantly, I terminated Barack Hussein Obama's Iran nuclear deal, a disaster. Obama gave them 1.7 billion in cash. Green.
Oh, but he did. He put it on airplanes. I mean, we do know that.
Banks from Virginia,
Yep,
DC,
he did.
Maryland.
He did.
All the cash they had flew it airplanes in an attempt to buy their respect and loyalty, but it didn't work. They laughed at our president and went on with their mission to have a nuclear
What's
bomb.
inaccurate about that? Are you just like the way he talks?
Listen, yes, I think it's hilarious. It's like green eggs and ham. I mean, the green. I'm so sorry.
You realize there's like a
that
method
is
behind all this,
just so
right, Mima?
funny.
What do you think repeats things
Green
over and over and over again?
paths. I don't know if I read a book in the 5th grade or okay. They laughed at our president and went on with their mission to have a nuclear bomb. His Iran deal would have led to a colossal arsenal of massive nuclear. Who did that? Whoever did that's gone. Who fucking did that?
Leo? Nope, I didn't do it.
That's disgusting.
I was clear my senses.
Okay, well, all right. Well, okay, well then.
I can't. I'm putting tobacco in my lip right now.
Oh my God, you're just.
Oh my God.
Is that Tucker Carlson tobacco?
His Iran deal would have led to a colossal arsenal. Okay, so you just unmuted yourself, so you fucking liar. His Iran deal, I hate you. His Iran deal would have led to a colossal arsenal of massive nuclear weapons for Iran. They would have had them years ago, and they would have used them. Would have been a different world. There would be no Middle East and no Israel right now, in my opinion. The opinion of a lot of great experts. Had I terminated that terrible deal, I was proud to do it. I was so proud to do it. It was so bad right from the beginning. Essentially, I did what no other president was willing to do. They make mistakes, and I am correcting them. That was the
What is not true about the money part? Let's talk about that.
What's not true?
What part of
You have the amount wrong. First off, it was many more billions than that.
I'll get down with you. So let's talk about it. What part on the clearing out cash and putting on an airplane?
The way that Trump phrased it is what I'm laughing at. The way that he said it, that he emptied out the banks, that he totally cleaned them out.
Yeah, I was just laughing at the Obama gave 1.7 billion cash. Green cash. That's just.
Emptied out the banks in Virginia, West Virginia.
So he's ingraining things into people's minds. The same way that whenever I say Hillary Clinton or I say Hillary, we all think crooked Hillary. The same reason we think low energy Jeb. Like we all know, like Bible high, then he lies. Like he just repeats these things over and over and over again until they're ingrained in your fucking mind.
Neuro-linguistic programming, is that right?
But maybe, but you know what? The one thing about the green thing, I kind of have to be on this because he actually flew cash on planes. So if someone says he delivered all this money to Iran, most people don't think that you do it that way anymore. They think that you electronically send money. So when he said green cash, I think it is. It's driving that point home. He actually took physical dollar bills or probably $100 bills.
Because you know what the general populace
So
will be
that's
talking
how
about
I
tomorrow?
read it. That's how
You know what
I
the general
receive it.
populace will be talking about tomorrow? Green cash.
Honestly, that's my reaction to that comment, is to try to make it clear that it was physical cash as opposed to an electronic way of transferring money.
Yeah, they could have cashed out.
They aren't waiting until tomorrow. They're already talking about it on social apps and the main platforms. They're already talking about the green cash tonight.
Oh, are they?
Ice, bro, you got a
That's
picture of my man
hilarious.
because we were talking. I thought you were lunatic. I'm not even joking. I was like, when the fuck did Luke Vic get on stage? Oh, look at all shit's ice. This mic's all muffled.
Ludwig will not be getting on stage. He wouldn't even be getting in the room.
He was very like dry and monotone when he was talking to. He's like, wow, like
That ATZ guy was something too, wasn't he?
I would definitely take Ludwig over Rich. Swap out
yeah,
one day.
yeah.
Never in 500,000 years.
Yeah, I'm on Serendipity's page here.
Oh, that's an easy swap for me.
Look, can I say something? I have two buddies right now that just arrived in the Middle East. They told me that they were
I'm
about
so glad you visited my man's.
Dude, shut up.
I think an interesting question is, what other tricks does Donald Trump have up his sleeve? Because in my opinion, this was kind of like,
You have to understand, John Kitover has brain damage.
You're about to join him.
I already knew he had brain damage. But yeah, both of my friends are in the Middle East now, and I don't really know too much about what's going on. I mean, I know a lot as far as what I see on the news, because I wake up and immediately I got either MSNBC or Fox. So I kind of like chip in to see what's going on because I'm worried about my friends. But that's why I'm mainly like on Trump's side, and that's why I'm going hard on it, because it's like, if we can stop this, if we can stop these extreme Muslims from recognizing their religion almost to fuck with their own civilians, and almost use it as almost a reason to bomb other places, because mind you, their religion isn't a peaceful religion, it's a justice religion. So obviously they're going to try to take over most parts of the world. They're even trying to do that with America now. That's how they fight back. So I feel like there needs to be a change not only over there but over here too.
I have a question for you, Fangs. You just said you watch MSNBC and Fox. It's really interesting to hear
Yes.
someone. So how do you react? Like, you're hearing two opposite viewpoints.
Did he find somebody?
What is he doing?
what's important to remember, this is the last thing I'll say, is that when we are all gone and the next generation has disappeared and the generation after that has disappeared, and then a new generation of Americans, 4 generations, they will look back at 2026 as the highest energy with such nostalgia, and they'll say, how was America so bold, so audacious, so intelligent? And how did they know how to deliver the knockout blow before they even knew it was coming? How did America envision such a strategic success? How did they know? Where did this divine wisdom come from that Donald Trump seems to draw from? These miracles Trump keeps pulling out of the ether. Who is and who was the great orange man?
Hey,
Sorry, man. Yeah, exactly. Hold your horses, man. Hold your horses.
You should be crazy to support IRGC. I was joking.
Not even. Did you win the war yet? That's all I gotta ask. Have you won the war yet?
I was joking. I'm not supporting IRGC, but I just wanted to say that this war is going to the wrong direction. In my opinion, it's.
I think this guy's a sleeper cell. He's a sleeper cell. He's one of the ones we gotta worry about.
well, can you provide us with some evidence of why do you think that way, Anna?
Because of this. And he said he cannot open the Strait of Hormuz. Why?
Exactly, brother.
No, let me explain why. Okay, because it is wide only for 30 or 40 kilometers, so it's not really wide. I mean, it's not a very big area. Okay, so you can control it easily. And in the south of Iran, I'm Iranian. In the south of Iran, actually, I haven't been there, but I know the geography of the area of the country. In the south of Iran, there are very hard rock mountains, so you can easily hide under these mountains. I mean, you can
You can settle your ballistic or missile systems to control traffic control over the Strait of Hormuz. But the thing is, Trump, I think, is following another plan with this war. I mean, it has nothing to do with Iran. It has nothing
What's the
to do
open
with
to start?
It's a plan against NATO because we all know Trump hates NATO only because of the expenditure that I also find it very unfair. Well, why USA pay for the security of Europeans when they have lots of money and they can do it? They don't do it, so USA should pay it. But also the war, look, the goal of I can say 80 or 70% of Iranian people is to have a regime change. Okay, so everybody wanted. But the thing is, how we have to implement this plan. Right now, the war is getting distracted in another direction that is the wrong direction, which is attacking civilians' infrastructures. And if they want to do it, if they want to attack people's, let's say, assets, because they are for the people, it has nothing to do with IRGC or the regime. It's for the people, for the local people. If Americans or if Israelis want to attack,
Wait, wait, I'm sorry. Who's attacking civilian infrastructure?
Trump today gave the warning. Trump today gave the warning.
I mean, Iran's been attacking civilian, so we know Iran's been attacking civilian areas in all the countries that it's attacking. So when has the U.S. I'm sorry, but you made a statement, so I need you to clarify your statement. Where has the U.S. intentionally targeted civilian sites?
For the first day of war, they targeted.
Targeted?
Yeah, I don't know if that was the US, but Israel.
Remember, it wasn't the U.S. It wasn't Israel. It was the U.S. Hold on. Even if it was, they asked a specific question. The words are important. Answer my question. Mute up. Whoever this dude is, stop talking, sir. When have they targeted, I use the word targeted, a civilian site? Targeted.
Speaking your sweet, smothered English.
I can do. Do you want me to say the word target in Swahili? What language do you need the word target in? It's also a store that has really cheap stuff and good deals sometimes.
Gold, I've got silver, and
Do you know Target? Do you know that Target? Well, that word you know, right?
Young lady, sorry.
So answer my question as you're talking, IRGC. When did the U.S. target? Target means an intentional action, correct?
So I have a
Does
question.
target mean an intentional action?
Answer
me. Does target mean the concept of target?
I want to
Targeted.
School.
Oh, wait, stop now. You just said the U.S. I'm going to stop you. I can totally stop you. If in fact a U.S. missile and not by intention hit a school, it was not targeting a school. And for you to share that propaganda in a room with I don't know how many people are in the audience is a problem. It's a concerning problem.
Well, there's a semantical issue here. Hold on, just guys, because I see both. There's a semantic break that we could
Intentionally target.
Right. Well, it was intentionally. We intentionally targeted that target. But the problem is, hold on. The problem is that. Hold on. Exactly. That it was an intentional target of a specific building that was believed to be an IRGC building. So IR is correct that we did intentionally target the building, but the idea is that obviously it was misidentified as a valid target.
Where did it say we actually targeted that specific building? Do you have that? Can you put that in the chat?
Hold on, well, I'll explain.
No, I understand what
Preliminary
happened.
investigations say that it was a Tomahawk cruise missile, right? Specifically a U.S. Tomahawk
Right,
cruise missile.
right, did hear that.
We know that the United States does not target civilian, right? So we can only assume that if it is, it's in favor of the United States to say that if it was indeed a U.S. Tomahawk cruise missile, and that building was targeted, it was due to misinformation.
Yes.
We don't target civilian
Thank you.
buildings.
So let's clarify that we don't target civilian buildings, which is what this guy
So
said.
you answer that. What's the history of the states?
In Iranian rooms, we
What
don't
is it?
put like this. We give time.
I just put the link in the comments for you guys to check it out. Yeah, I just put the link in
Welcome
the
to Free
comments.
Speech IRGC.
Yeah,
Welcome to how it works in the US.
Correct. You're correct.
First of all, IRGC is your mother. I'm not IRGC. Second of all, I'm sure you have no idea what IRGC means because it has no Iranian name inside it.
I never said it did. It's Islamic.
So my
I
name
thought
is
the
Iran.
IRGC was Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. That's not it.
No, it's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps.
So it has nothing to do with Iran. Don't call me with that fucking name because I get upset.
So it just proves that it says jihad. It's a jihad military.
It's not in jihad. It's not in jihad. You're protecting your own homeland.
No. She said it's Islamic, not Iranian. Iran is the land. Islam is not the land. Islam is the religion.
It stands for it is.
So do we have an understanding that the United States does not target civilians? Can we understanding and then you
No,
can go
not at
on?
all. I apologize, young lady. You're right, but you're wrong.
I'm right, but I'm wrong. We don't intentionally.
Listen, hear me out. Who's the only fucking, the place in the world that dropped a fucking atomic bomb on somebody?
Listen, you don't know nothing. You don't know the city.
We ended a war. Do we have to get into talking about why Truman made the decision?
What war? What war did you end?
World War II. Thank you very much.
And you only came in 2 or 3 years after that. If you know your history, talk.
I know my history. From the end of World War II. I didn't watch Truman. I think these kinds of people. Now let's go back to argument and go back to what we were talking about. So now, so continue what you were saying.
Please close your microphone for 5 minutes. Let me finish, and then you can say whatever you want. You are free to say everything, but just give the time to finish, to get the point, and then okay. So,
When did the U.S.
where were I? I was just saying. Okay. Yeah, I was talking about.
You blame the U.S. for bombing.
I was not putting it on the I was talking about it's not a joke, it's a video game, okay? So people die. More people die, it's not a joke. Don't listen to media, okay? Whatever you see in media are, I can say 100% wrong. News is the side of Republicans.
I've got
For example, New York Times is on the side of Democrats. They are trying to defend Democrats and saying Trump is just doing shit. Just keeping it from me. Because today I talked to my mother. I'm not in Iran. They are in the west of Iran. Actually, they were in the capital. But they just quit like a week ago because it's not dangerous. But she said one or 2 times a day we hear house just vibration just comes through the windows. So they just let the city for 1 or 2 months and let's see what happens. But the thing is, this war cannot this way. Cannot move forward more. Why? Because if Iran wants to close the Strait of Hormuz, the European economy will be totally fucked up. I'm sure about it because I'm living in Europe and I see that Europe Europeans are just harming from this war. But also, it's good for Trump or for Americans. Why? Because we don't want any boots on the ground. So you don't want it to, I'm sure. I mean, it's not the view of Americans. But the thing is, USA, or let's say the West, I'm not talking only about the USA, the West has a big army of people like me.
It's only the US, sorry, I apologize. It's not Canada, it's not Mexico.
Okay, so that's the US. Okay, because it's a central power. Okay, it's a central power. You're right, because it's a central power. It's the first power in the West. So you're right. But USA army, you can say bigger than the American army, which is inside Tehran, which is inside Iran. That is a local people. That is a people who can bring this regime down. Okay? But I'm not also saying stop war. I'm not saying that. You have to target the military bases. You have to make it allowed. You have to bring all the power facilities down. But there is a very important thought here. You hear me? Sorry, I think your white cigar. That should be right at the top. America have no idea what white cigar is.
Just send it to I'm in the UK and I don't know why
Okay, yeah, that's right. We know that some people inside Iran have white SIM card. Actually, it's not a fair name because in USA, white and black. To use that name, let's say governmental SIM cards. There are some agents from the government.
Guys, stop detracting from the conversation.
I was finishing exactly.
You're like 3 minutes over your 5. Somebody tell me what Western card is in the chat. I'm done.
Okay, and then I was saying that, okay, if I think now it is time to bring people in the streets. I mean, if the war wants to move on like this, people with airstrikes, or let's say with how can I say, with just a special forces, something like this. But it's not easy. It's not easy. That is the plan. You know what I mean? That's the plan. That is what everybody is saying. But how you want to do it? How you want to do it? The thing is, if you also want to bring special forces in the streets, okay, which I, on the paper, think is the best idea. But the thing is, you will get. They come and talk about bad about their own country. About what's they going to do to your country. Stay away from these people because they own motherland. What they going to do to your land?
We already got the Democrats. Are you talking about the Democrats right now?
Let's hear what you think, please.
We already got the Democrats.
They call Iranian. They are not Iranian. They just we have a common language. The people, the Iranian spoken people, they come and they try to betray Iran. What I'm saying is, you have to be careful of these people. You have to be careful.
Just wait. Hold on. Because please hold on. Go ahead, finish. Then I have a question for you.
Because the people they trade their own land. What they going to do to you guys? All I'm saying is this.
Okay, that's it. Okay, so you said the economy is not collapsing, right, Reza?
At the moment, no.
What's the minimum wage by the law in Iran? How much is it?
You know, the minimum wage, you have to calculate the minimum spending.
Hold on, money. I need a number because I know it. Okay, what's the minimum wage in Iran? 6.
Whatever, what you saying?
Okay, so
What you saying?
Talking about our thing.
Hold on, guys.
$60. You say $40.
Is all $100, man. Reza, be quiet. The minimum wage in Iran is 12 million toman. Dollar is about $80 a day, right? And a month, I'm sorry. $80 a month. 12 million toman. So which is almost about 400,000 toman, which is about $3 a day. Less than $3, $2.50. Well, it depends on the month, dude, no.
It's also the cost of goods and services. For example, if you need laser hair removal service, that could be 10 cents to get 1,000 hairs taken off of Ronnie's back.
So
Can I just respond to this guy?
basically, you get paid $1,000 a month, which is less than $3 a day. What can you buy with your daily income in Iran as a minimum wage person? 3 bags of hot Cheetos. How much is a bag of hot Cheetos, buddy?
Okay. Can I respond to this guy?
Cheeto?
Can I respond to it?
How much is a hot Cheeto? My response is a number. How much?
$5. $5.
No, it's not $5.
$10.
It is not. It is not
What you
$10.
want there?
It's about $1. So how much
Okay,
did I
dollar.
say you can make?
Price is dollar
How much
is
did I say you can make? $3. What
50 cents.
What can you buy?
50 cents.
3 bags of hot Cheetos. 1 day of work.
Nothing. Let me tell you, let me respond.
No, you don't get to talk. You're finished.
You know whatever he says.
Who's next, guys? Now, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to.
I'm the next.
He's lying, guys. He's lying.
So I'm lying about how much of
I just go get it.
Yes, you are.
I could get the time to
I
talk.
just wanted to respond because he insulted
Yes,
me.
you
He
are.
said I'm not Iranian.
Hold on.
How many millionaires?
If you are Iranian, come
Is
to
it
the
the
channel, man.
spicy Cheetos or like?
Let's just, yeah. Let's see if we can just come to UK and we can talk face to face. How's that? I want my family and to my friends, and I want to see if you see us, how you can think about this.
This isn't a dating app, Rose. Wrong. So Reza. So
You wish.
Don't laugh.
You wish.
So you
She's
said
talking about her wish.
So you
She's
said
not dating.
I think
Yes,
we
you are.
should
Yes, you are. You are 100% lying. The reason is
So you tell us
I'm
how
not
much
talking
is
to this.
What's the truth?
You tell me how much
Whatever it is, the minimum wage. Listen.
What do you mean whatever it is? You can't say whatever it is.
I'm not responding to you guys. By the way, I'm not responding to you guys. Whatever the minimum wage
How much
is,
is the
the
minimum?
dollar,
It's in the chat. I put it in the chat so you guys can look at it.
$1 a day. $1. You happy with the $1 a day?
No, you said I'm lying. So you have to prove that I'm lying.
What?
Well, hold on, you have to adjust that. It doesn't matter.
How much did you get the comments?
Milk is usually a good.
Hold on. When you claim the economy is good, the economy is fucking amazing. We're fucking buying iMac with 1 hour our work. You piece of shit fucking liar. Motherfucker, you're a fucking loser who you work for 1 day for 8-9 hours. You cannot even buy a meal with the money. A pizza is 2 days of your work. 2 days. If you want to buy a pizza,
You know what?
2 days.
Who says that?
Nobody needs.
Your guy's not
Islam.
here.
You just.
I'm saying you didn't tell us.
Hey, Cena lives in Tehran. He's gonna talk.
Yeah, I'm person in Tehran.
Because
You want to show me?
And then you get money, then you can buy some pizza for yourself.
No topics. No topics.
thank you, Ocean.
It's an airport.
Your guy not living in Iran, all of them is loser. Come to Tehran and then talk. I'm Persian. You're all of them losers.
Okay.
We had everything.
Can you tell me a teacher how much he got paid by months?
What? Teacher, how much?
Yeah,
$100.
Okay.
Right now is not our problem. Right now is not our problem. We had problem with economy. Anybody don't know that. But right now is not problem for us.
What's your problem?
Iranian out of them, Iran, not Iranian really. They are loser. They follow in the Pahlavi. They are all of them loser. You cannot even come out. You cannot come to
Okay, Sina. I have one question. You're right.
You are not my voice.
Okay.
You are not Tehran. I'm in Tehran. You cannot come to Istanbul. You cannot come to Dubai. You are
Allah, bro, I'm in Dubai. Hold on. Sina, guess what?
If you are Dubai, show your flag of the mystery. You cannot, man.
Sina, guess what? I had a steak for lunch, and I had lamb chops for dinner. What did you have for dinner? Eggs?
Of course we have. We have more than the America.
You had eggs?
We have more than
You had
America.
eggs for
Man,
breakfast?
We have collaboration for economy. Of course we have.
سینا میگه که
Right now is not problem.
سینا جان یه لحظه گوش کن، میخوام ترجمه کنم برات. میگه که من برای شام استیک داشتم. تو چی خوردی برای شام؟ تو خمار خوردی؟
کیر خر خورد.
Egg and rice, but it doesn't matter for us. Right now is not our problem.
Now what's the problem?
These guys from LA should be bring for us meal? No. They cannot come to Istanbul.
Sina, I have one question, one specific question for you. What did you do that you get the white SIM card so you can connect it to the...
I don't have white SIM card. I have VPN. I bought VPN.
I can see from your connection it's a VPN or it's a white SIM card. You have a white SIM card, it's all...
I don't have it. Nobody doesn't have. It's just club. Nobody. Maybe some people for government have it.
I have a lot of people...
I have maybe people for government have, but normal people don't have.
Okay, Sina, what's your Twitter? Can you share
I
us
don't have Twitter. I don't have
your
Twitter.
X account?
He's got one friend. You can figure this one out.
Yeah, I mean,
They have white SIM cards.
So here's the thing.
I don't have white SIM card.
Bullshit and lies, I have to jump in the middle. So when I hear when the guy say economy is all good and this and that,
Economy is not good. Where is the economy good right now?
I'm not talking about you, you know.
Where?
I'm not talking about you.
Come to my city. Come to Tehran. I show you which city you can come right now.
But what are you gonna show me?
Which city? And then I call you. If you are Iranian or not.
If you
Your guy is not Iranian. If you are Iranian coming inside Iran, you are all loser.
Sina,
You are all loser.
Sina, oi. If you honestly know what part I'm from, you be fucking your pants.
Okay.
Honestly,
Out.
pants.
You will be out of
No,
flag out of the which city you are?
well, you're not gonna know the city that I'm in.
Yeah. If you want to support Iranian, you have to be in Iran. You cannot out of Iran and say, I want to freedom Iran.
Fight the regime. Wait. I'll be in Iran to do what? Fight America or fight the regime?
Both. There are problem both. American and Iran regime. Both is bullshit. We are problem by American. Of course, anybody in Middle East has problem.
Which nation?
Do you chant that to America? Do you chant that?
Everybody living in
Sina,
Middle
do you
East has
chant that?
problem by
Let me ask you this
You
question.
think he does?
So let's say you see everyone as an enemy, right? Everyone is an enemy. You don't have any enemies.
Because your guys, I know your guys is Trump guys.
So you know,
You are evil. Of
you know,
course you are evil.
okay, hold on and listen. Let's say fuck US and fuck Iran regime, right? Okay, we got that straight. So which country we're gonna have a relationship with them in order to like be friends and do trades and do this and that? Which country?
Any
North
country.
Korea.
Which
I don't have problem. Our people doesn't have problem
country you like?
by US don't have problem by American. We are problem by American as a politic. You cannot say I'm just Arab. Anybody think like American problem? Imperialist. You have problem by imperialist.
American government. Fine. I said,
Yeah.
which country would you like to be an ally with, to be friends with? Which country?
Any country around us, we don't have problem by country.
Which one?
Any guys living in
Name
water. I didn't understand what you asked me
Name
exactly.
one country that you will choose as an Iranian to be an ally with.
میگه دوست داری با کدوم کشور دیل بکنید معامله کنید با کدوم کشور میخواید معامله کنید
All countries.
تایید چه کشوری دوست داری؟
بابا سینای کسنق میگم با چه اگر از آمریکا متنفری با چه کشوری دوست داری رابطه نزدیک داشته باشی با مالی ایرانی؟
You tell him, Ocean.
اروپا
کسنق یوروپ علای خود آمریکاست. کیر آمریکاست. چیکار میخوای بکنی؟
خب چه ربطی داره؟ What was it?
Okay, just
You see what happened to they didn't give the access airport access to America aircraft. France, Spain,
All European countries suck a dick.
yeah.
Yeah, you will see.
Are you done now, Sina?
Yeah, he's done. He's done. Next, go ahead, next.
I just want to say something before we start with anything else. Have you noticed that he was telling that if you are against us, come to Dubai, come to Turkey, which means that you're doing something there, right?
You cannot. I mean, you cannot support it.
No. You mean that if
You
you
are
go
in
to
Istanbul.
country,
You cannot
taking
because
your
you are scared. You are not in. You are scared. If you are in safe place, you say, "Yeah, I love the Pahlavi." Oh, come to. We have 1 million
Those
Iranian.
40,000 people who
who
died
fought
in the
wait. We have 1 million Iranian in Istanbul, in Turkey, but they cannot.
and you're educating them in
You
Iran.
have 1 million Iranian in Turkey, but never you see Pahlavi flag in Turkey. Why? Because you are not in safe place. You say you just use it as inside the Iran. If you bribe, come inside Iran and then show your flag. If you bribe, okay? Is it easy?
2 months ago, the people they carried up the flag in the street.
These people was bribed, but you're not. You cannot use it, these people, for your ideology. Okay? If you are like that, come inside the Iran and then open your mouth. Use your mouth, man. Okay?
The internet is blacked out at the moment in Iran, so that's why the raining outside are the voice of the Iranians. Then shut up.
To the market dumps.
Can I make a suggestion? Sorry guys to interject. Hello to everybody on the stage. Why don't we resolve this problem really easy? Why don't we let Iranian people to have access to internet? So Sina can talk on behalf of 19 million Iranians. How about doing that? How about letting Iranians talk for themselves?
4 ounces.
90 million Iranian, not like you are out of
You don't
Iran.
need your
Yeah.
opinion on that because they have maps and they have
Iran doesn't think like each other.
Fine, why don't we let them decide for themselves instead of you as a map
Can you find out? How can you find any Iranian things like you are out of the Iran?
I don't care. Why don't you let the Iranian people have that decision on their own behalf instead of
Ismail, he is Iranian people.
برو 4 تا سپاهی بکش مادر قبل اینجا
Well, I'm Iranian as well. That problem is that I'm an Iranian and none of my family members, I haven't spoken to my family for 5 now.
Okay,
Why are you cutting in 21st century the access of 90 million Iranian people to internet where they can't even talk to each other or talk to anybody overseas and they can't even express their opinions?
That is
Why
our
is your
problem.
regime doing
Yeah, that is our problem. That is our problem. Yeah,
Well, that's your problem. That's been your problem for 47 years.
Okay,
Shut
you
the Iranian
want to
people
come inside.
from the rest of the
You want to help us come inside Iran and
Well, I wasn't in Iran in January.
That's
I was in Iran in January. I was in Iran in January.
what is the solution? What is the solution? What is the solution?
Shooting bullets at people.
No. Solution access internet is right now booming in Iran. Solution is booming in
What's
Iran.
internet got to do with bombing Iran? You know, Iranian people don't get notification for places
Man,
in Israel
access
where
to
you want to
internet.
bomb. Did you know that?
Access to
Why don't
internet
you
is
build
booming in Iran.
bunkers? Why don't
No,
you
you
build
guys are
bunkers
getting
and
bombed
shelters for
because you
Iranian
built
people
nuclear
where there's
weapons.
not a single shelter in Iran, and you have cities and cities under mountains to launch rockets at the US. Why do you have that? Why don't Iranian people, not a single shelter was built in the last half a century by you guys who said death to America non-stop, day in, day out. You spend our money, our people's money, on Hamas and Hezbollah and Palestine, all that crap that you guys
like
pay.
America,
And you didn't build a single shelter for Iranian people.
like
And when the
America
war
use money for
started,
Israel. Like
the war
America use
that
money
you
for
guys called
Israel.
for it,
Like
the war that you guys called for it for 47 years, when that war started, you guys cut the access to internet
One at a time. One at a time.
Can I ask one question for Ismail?
I want to close it. God,
Can I ask
I want to close it. I want to close it.
Yeah, shoot it, Mike. Go for it. No. Can I ask you one question?
Wait, hold on. Did Rose finish? Rose, are you finished?
What is Pulitzer's bar? Sina, where is it?
Hey, Beaver.
What
Beaver.
is it, Rahma?
There is a Pulitzer's bar, something like this. Pulitzer's bar. Where is it? Sina? Because in your profile you have a picture next to a bar, so it's not clear, but it seems like Pulitzer or something like this. Since you're in Iran, is there some bar like this in Iran so you can take a picture like this next to it?
It says
That's
Pulitzer.
a fake profile picture, mate.
Oh, you think it's AI?
Yeah, I think he's saying.
Well, you got everybody.
I tell you this, guys, just as anybody who's not an Iranian, just bear with me for a second. Just think of it. 90 million Iranians don't have access to internet, and now, out of the blue, you got people that come out on Clubhouse and Twitter with like free access to internet, let's say from within Iran, and they're all parroting the government propaganda. Okay, I'm not talking about the US. I'm not talking that people in Iran can't
Go ahead, Ismail, keep talking.
No, Ismail, you're not actually making a lot of sense right now because in the past.
I am making a lot of sense. Guess what? The same government is spending all that money on missiles and rockets and proxy forces across the place for 47 years.
VPNs are working in the past 2 days. So people have VPNs, right? And they're not related to government. They're buying VPNs, so they're working in the past couple of days. So yeah, I'm just letting you know if you don't know. So if you wanna.
Well, how about the last 4.5 weeks?
Well,
How about the last 4.5 weeks, the last 2 days?
are working.
Did you know that for more than 60% of the days of this year, people in Iran had no access to internet?
Brother, I'm
This year.
I'm Iranian.
This cal-
I'm Iranian. I haven't talked to my family in like fucking 7
Yeah,
8
same.
years.
I haven't spoken to my parents for 5 weeks now, and then
Okay.
out of the blue, you got people who come out here and talk about how wonderful is Iran.
In the past couple of days, VPNs are working, so not freebie.
So Ismail, can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Why are you not in Iran?
Well, I was actually in Iran in January. I live in Australia. I went there for January break, for the New Year break, and guess what? I got shot at in Tehran.
Are you married? Do you have
There were
children?
thousands of...
How'd that happen? What
Right.
happened?
Well, there was a call out by the king. So the king, the opposition figurehead, he asked people to come out on the 8th of January at 8 o'clock at night. So we went out, and there were thousands and thousands and thousands of people, unimaginable number of people in streets protesting. And you get to a point where you'll get shot at by machine guns, dude. Like no warning shots, nothing. Ta 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 ta. They started mowing people down. Okay, now you listen to me, and you'll be like, "Oh, this guy is propagandist, whatever." I'm an Iranian. I'm an Iranian. I can speak Farsi. I was there in January. The sort of brutality. If you're a woman, just think of this. Those women get dragged down if you don't wear proper hijab. Don't look at those videos they post on YouTube or whatever, because those videos are shot in certain areas, in particular sections of Tehran. Iran has 31 provinces. It's got more than 600 towns and cities. If you don't cover your hair as a woman, if you don't go out properly, considered modest by the government, they drag you and they put you into detention. You know, this is not some sort of a nice regime that's parroting, saying, "Hey, let's support Palestinians" and all that. That's all fake. Like the reality of Iran. Yeah, go.
Guys, have you noticed the Sina? Again, I'm telling you guys so that be aware of these things. That how they are like. He told me that if you are against us, come to Dubai or come to Turkey, which means that they have this thing that they kidnap people from Turkey and Dubai, they took them to Iran and execute them. Have you noticed that? So which means that the level of brutality they got in the region, how they abuse the people in the region.
Yeah, one of their tactics, to be honest, I don't want to be pessimistic, but one of their tactics is to snatch people up by rolling them up. They roll people up and they say, "Okay, if you want to come to Turkey and we've got this group and we've got this movement, you can contribute to like all these forces that are working against the regime. You show up in Turkey, you go out to the street. You know, they don't do it themselves. They pay gangs and certain groups to snatch you off the street. And guess what? Turkey's got border with Iran. They get them across the border and then they put them on trial. They actually execute. They have executed some of those before. You know, they put them on trial. They show their confessions on TV channels. They do all sorts of crazy crap that you guys can't even imagine. This is one of the issues. It's so terrible that we who live in the West, we're so comfortable, we're so accustomed to our way of life, we can't even fathom the tactics and the sort of ways that they go around to suppress opposition.
So yeah,
I also just wanted to add about the economy and the state of the Iranian economy. So, inflation, we're talking, is at like 40-something%. Inflation, 56%. The reals, just for a perspective, in 2024, there was, I want to say, about 47,000 real to $1. Today, it's 1.65 million reals per dollar. Massive inflation. 70%
food inflation. I mean, yeah, if you wouldn't consider this an economy collapsing or in very dire straits, I mean, I don't know, this isn't,
And
this is
just
food
letting you know, Bima, this is not a lot of this is because of the war. It was like this before the war. You know, it was not like
So, I know, so that's interesting that you say that, and I'll tell you, it's two
the war
parts to that.
added a little bit to it, not too.
Okay, I would say that that's a fair statement. I would say if we were to look, if we were to be objective, let's see.
Ocean, it becomes better even. When the war started, it was 170, I think it's 178 something, the dollar.
No, I'm not
And
talking
then
about
now-
the dollar itself. I'm talking about, inflation.
Yeah, I'm just adding that when the war started, the real become even more powerful.
I should interject for a second. I apologize. Guys, it's the same story over again. The government spends more than what it makes. So the money that they got in the coffers is so much less than the money that they spend. And guess what? They spend it on they support 40,000 Hezbollah families and pay them in US dollars, $1,000 a month. And guess what's the average income of an Iranian? $100. So an average Iranian, and they spend all that money on these rockets. They fired so many rockets. The US and Israel have targeted so far over 20,000 military sites in Iran. 20,000, like the country is filled with military sites under the mountains, on the streets, next to schools, everywhere. They spend all their money on that, and it's not for all for ideological purposes. A whole lot of it is for the purpose of making money. So you create a scheme, and every part of that scheme you make money. You smuggle this part from Russia through Caspian Sea to northern provinces in Iran. They get paid for that. Then someone else pick up the oil to sell it somewhere in Malaysia. They make money out of that. So the ideological side is just the facade of it, and behind that you got pretty much like a mafia cult regime that's making so much money. One of the richest countries in the world. Iran has the second largest gas reserves in the world, and probably the third or the fourth largest oil reserves in the world.
It's the fifth in general.
And I beg you, because there hasn't been any explorations in Iran for 40 years. That's the thing. All the numbers from Iran are from 40 years ago. And I beg you to, sometime in the future, if you end up traveling to Iran, go and see how poor people live. That is so poor. In some provinces of Iran, they don't have slippers to put on. Slip-by slippers. I mean, I'm using the Australian slang, like shoes to put on to go out. Like people are so poor in a country just like that. And the GDP per capita for Iran at the moment is the same as it was 50 years ago. The GDP per capita for this country. Just guess what? I know as an American, you guys want to know how all of this affects America. Pretty makes sense to me. But really, as an Iranian, I look at this and it aches my heart because Australia hasn't got even remotely as much resources as Iran's got. Australia is close to China. It's got a lot of geopolitical tensions happening here, but still people live a pretty decent life. And then I look at Iran with all of that resources, all of those amazing people. And you just look at the Bible, all of the story, culturally rich. People are so nice, so hospitable. They live such a miserable life.
Ismail, very much thinking. Can I ask a question? Can anybody narrate Savak to me? Savak, what's Savak?
Okay, this is my opinion. I studied history, so I can give you a quick rundown. But Savak means Sazman Aliyat va Etelat Keshvar, so it's an acronym. It was an acronym for Iranian intelligence service before the revolution. All right.
Okay.
So I'll give you one snippet
of one interview that was conducted before the revolution with the king of Iran, which we call it Shah. Okay, this was before the revolution in 1978. Okay, so CBS interviewee, he sat down with the king of Iran and he said, in the newspaper are reports that you've got 100,000 detainees in your prisons, okay, in your detention camps. And the Shah responded that our capacity, our entire prison system capacity is in Iran is at 4,000. How can a country with 4,000 capacity cells for prisoners has 100,000 detainees? So I'm not saying Sabah wasn't operating in Iran before the revolution. They were cruel at some point, but the reality is everything got so magnified in the Western media, just like it's getting swept under the carpet right now. All of these massacres that's happening for I don't know what benefits, but what they did was a misrepresentation of an intelligence agency that, guess what? All the people that were detained by Salak, most of them, okay, all would be an exaggeration, most of them are currently designated as terrorists. Most of those people, so Khamenei, who was the leader, Rafsanjani, who was the president, go through the parliament, most of Mariam Rajavi, yeah. Some of these terrorists that are even currently designated as terrorists by Europe and America, they were detained by the Shah, in Iran before the revolution. And President Carter, put so much pressure on the Shah of Iran to release them. And then when he released them just a year before the revolution in 1978, what happened was that these people started creating cells and networks, and they waged guerrilla warfare against the Shah, And then the French sent Khomeini on a private plane back to Iran, with all the revolutionaries. So I'm not saying the whole thing about the revolution was orchestrated, but there were so many interests in the West and the East to make sure the Shah is gone and we've got a new regime in Iran. Their assumption was that they could deal with Khomeini, but what Khomeini did was that Khomeini just he turned the table against him. This is pretty much my understanding of it. But you are right to talk about Salak, but another interesting point is that Iran never had an intelligence agency before Sabak was established. But Sabak was only established 15 years before the revolution. In Farsi, okay, exactly 15 years before the revolution, Iran had its first intelligence agency. So people familiar or people weren't accustomed to have an intelligence agency in the country. And because of that, there was a lot of rumors that this guy's a spy, this guy's he's a snatch, etc. All of those stories were circulating. But in reality, what Sabak was doing is that he was only targeting people that were armed opposition. We don't have serious armed opposition currently in Iran. But before the revolution, these people, because you had the Soviet Union, a lot of these people would travel to Soviet Union. They would get trained on how to. A lot of them would go to Libya, where Muammar Gaddafi was. A lot of them would go to Palestine, where you had Yasser Arafat, and they would learn guerrilla warfare, and they would come back to Iran to fight against the sitting Shah at the time. This is my understanding of it, but sorry if I misrepresented it, or sorry if I explained it in a skewed way. Okay, Ismail, so if I listen to you very well, then it means the Sabak was so brutal that the citizens revolted against them. That is the conclusion of everything you just said. Because if the citizens actually had to revolt to be able to take them, then they were very, very evil. As you rightly said, brutal, and you can't say their brutalities can be excused. So how come the citizens woke up and then revolted against the people, plotting the Shia Islam or Shia leadership, who on August 9th, through a referendum, voted to become an Islamic state, and then we see they occupied in their regime. Meanwhile, those who you are calling for were themselves brutal per your own explanation. So what are we doing now? Are we taking out an evil to bring in an evil man? I'm calling for an evil man to replace an evil man. Okay, so there are two points here. Is that are we talking about how this is going to affect the future of Iran? Because all this is from 50 years ago, right? There have been books and books and books, volumes have been written about Iranian revolution. Okay, so there is a lot of information there. You see how Soviet Union played played a significant role in arming and training leftist groups. Leftist groups were the strongest, the most supported, the most organized opposition against the Shah. Islamists had very minimal power, okay? But what happened was that because Iran at the time, 50 years ago, not currently most of Iranians, even me, I was born as a Muslim, I didn't even practice. If you go to Iran, most people don't. But at the time, a lot of Iranians were Muslims. So they created a government system that had a cleric at the top, all right? But what happened was that the clerics at the top, they actually subverted the process, okay? The first people that the clerics went after the revolution, guess what? They were the leftists, okay? You can go read about executions. They had like executions, mass executions in cells. The MEK, which is I admit, which is considered and designated as a terrorist organization. They believe 8,000 of their 8,000 of their people, of their sympathizers were executed in prisons. Okay, so there is a lot of, for example, the Shah, he had got cancer before the revolution. The crown prince was very young. So the revolution in Iran was one of the most poignant events in the 20th century. You can't just say, okay, there was Sabat and there was a revolution. Okay, so there's so many factors that are playing there. Especially, for example, Carter never supported the Shah. Okay, the ambassador to Iran, his name was Sullivan. Sullivan had very poor relationship with the Shah and the court. You know, there was also influences that the Shah was using. Shah was exerting influence globally. He started the idea of OPEC, countries that export oil. The idea stemmed from Shah's attempts. So what he did is that he founded OPEC. And what OPEC did was that OPEC countries, they set prices which was not acceptable for a lot of Western countries. So there's a lot of factors there playing. Economy, from inside politics of Iran, you see the leftists playing roles, you see the crown prince being very young, maybe he was like 15 or 16 at the time when the revolution happened. There's so many things happening there. So you can't just like shrink it and say, okay, Sabak was brutal. And in terms of brutality, again, what Sabak was going after were armed opposition. Properly armed and trained opposition, that most of them were designated terrorists following the revolution by the same Western countries right now. A lot of countries, not even Western ones, you know, even Arab countries consider some of the regional countries consider them terrorists, you know. So there's so many factors there at play. But what I suggest is that was 50 years ago. You know, we're talking about a regime at the moment that's not representing the Iranian people. Simple as there hasn't been a free election in that country for 50 years. It's just as simple as that. Why they can't have a referendum? Why they don't allow Iranian people to have access to it? Why they not giving up under proxy? Like, who's threatening us? We are a country of 90 million. We can protect our country. We don't need proxies in Yemen. Like, what the heck are we doing in Yemen? What's Yemen got to do with Iran? You know, these are the questions that Iranian people ask themselves. You know, the guy gets up in the morning and he doesn't have anything to eat for breakfast, and his money is being funneled to some to some random group in Yemen so that they can fire rockets at Israel and close down the Strait of Bab el-Mandeb in the Red Sea, you know? So those are the serious questions that Iranian people are asking themselves, you know? And I beg you to study about the Gen Z and the new generation in Iran, including myself. I'm only 38, okay? A lot of people in Iran, they watch Western movies, they post videos on YouTube, they post videos on Instagram, they dress up like Western people, they're just so accustomed to the global world and they just can't get the point that what's this Islamic regime that's ideologically driven from ideas from 1400 years ago, from 1400 years ago, is doing to the lives.
Thank you, Ismail.
Thinking Muhammad was a pedophile.
Thank you, Ismail. I think you said something which I'm very happy with. You said that was 50 years ago, so you should focus on the present. But when you were giving your submission, you made something, a very, very important statement. You said, as at the time, there were so much machinations and propaganda with respect to the news, the reality and the facts on the news, or the reality and the facts on the ground at the time. Can't you think the same can be today? Because if nothing at all, Scott Bessent himself said that they intentionally tank the economy of Iran to bring hardship upon them so that they can wage a war against them. He said it on his own war. Two, let's move on to the PP files which were just released by Tucker Carlson with the intra investigations within Israel concerning the crimes and corruption of Benjamin Netanyahu. It was said in there that Netanyahu was sponsoring Hezbollah and was sponsoring Hamas and the others to continue creating the mess and set terrorist groups in the region. It has been factually made known. Let's go to issues of Marco Rubio, and a few. Pompeo, is it Mike Pompeo? When the protests in Iran, they publicly came out through interviews and through their own Twitter walls, saying that they are with the people of Iran and they have armed them. There are Mossad and CIA agents amongst them. These are people who have publicly opened up and said that they are involved in all the violence in Iran during the protests. With all these facts on the ground, do you still say, or do you still stand by the fact that what is being said, what has been said by the regime during this protest should be taken as factual, knowing that there were external powers involved in it? Just as you said, that during the time of the Shah, the image painted of him had external factors in there that should be considered before we actually make a conclusion. If we are to go by your logic, as you said, should we also go by the same logic in today to analyze what is being said of whatever is happening now?
Okay, so you asked 3 questions. Allow me to go one by one. What I'm going to do is that I'm not going to give you my opinion or logic. I'm going to give you my lived experience. I'm an Iranian. I lived there till I was 18. I go back every year and I live there because my wife lives in Tajikistan, a country that's very close to Iran. So every time I go see her and her family, I go travel and see my parents as well in Iran. So what I'm giving you is first-hand experience, okay? So first thing about Israel and about Netanyahu. I want to tell you about Iran's history, okay? Iran has been there as a country, as a political entity for 2,500 years, since the Achaemenid period and the Sassanid period and and after the arrival of Islam, the Safavids, etc. So Iran is not Iraq, for example. No disrespect to the Iraqis, but the borders of Iran were not set in a Sykes-Picot agreement line after the World War I. Okay, Iran is not Jordan. Iran is not Emirates, who was formed how many years ago? 50 years ago, okay? Iran has been there for 2,500 years. And guess what? There are two nations in the Middle East that are not Arabs, okay? That are not Arabs, and they speak languages other than Arabic, and they are religiously different. We have a different calendar, we have a different language, we speak Indo-European language. So Persian is from the same family of languages as German, as English, as Swedish, as Nordic, as the same as Indian. Okay, so we don't understand Arabic. So if someone speaks Arabic in the street, I as an Iranian don't understand a word coming out of his mouth. Okay, so there are two countries in the Middle East that are minorities, Iran and Israel. Okay, in addition to that, so take that as granted. In addition to that, Iranians practice a particular Islam that 90% of Muslims in the world don't practice that. Iran is the only Shia country in the world. There are Shias in Iraq and Azerbaijan and Kuwait and Bahrain, etc. But Iran is the only Shia country, Shia Muslim country in the world. Okay? So even from a religious perspective, Iranians are minorities there. From a linguistic perspective, there are minorities there. From ethnic point of view, there are minorities there. So Iranians and Jews, including Cyrus's, what Cyrus did 2,500 years ago, and he freed the Jewish people from the reigns of Nebuchadnezzar, okay? So Iranians and Jews have a lot of close ties and a lot of close interests. I'm not saying we have to support everything that Israel does. I'm just saying that the cause for Palestine is not necessarily something that you see Iranian people in street, not what's shown on TV, care about, okay? We don't have Palestinian refugees in Iran. Okay, you have a lot of Palestinian refugees in Jordan, etc. So when you talk to Iranians about Israel, in the hindsight, you might see, okay, this is a problem across the region, every country is not happy about Israel, etc. But that doesn't work with Iranians. Iranians see allies in Israel, okay? That doesn't mean they agree to everything that Israel does, but they see certain shared interests with Israel. Okay, for example, right now with the regime, we have a dictator in Iran, we have a crazy regime. They see themselves sharing that interest with Israel to get rid of this regime. Okay, that doesn't mean we support everything that Israel does. But Iranians share a lot more history with Israelis than they do with Saudi Arabians, that they do with Emiratis, that they do with Turkey. You see, the point that I'm trying to say is that Iran is not like any other country in that region. There are certain things about Iran. I'm not talking about Iranian exceptionalism. I'm saying that there are certain things about Iran that doesn't apply. That there's certain things in the Middle East that applies to every country but Iran. Okay, so an Iranian new generation, 60% of university graduates in Iran are women. 60%. You have a government that's taking all the rights away from women, and these women see an opening in going to universities and study. So Iran has got more educated women than men. You don't have that anywhere across the Middle East. Iranian women got right during the Shah's time. They had the right to go and vote and participate in elections before Switzerland. Okay, we're talking about a country just like this. So Iran is not like Saudi Arabia where women are not even allowed to drive. You know, Iranian women had right to vote 70 years ago. So the problem with Iran is that people put on their glasses on and they're like, okay, US has done this to Iraq or Syria, so okay, the same thing's going to happen in Iran. No, Iran is an intricate thing, like it's an intricate matter. I hope I've helped with that. And bear that in mind, what happens in Israeli political landscape, we don't look at that and we don't judge Israel based on face value. We judge Israel by what sort of interests we share with Israel. What do we like to do in the future? How Israelis can help us. We look at it that way. Most of Iranians do it that way. You know, of course, you find crazy people in Iran that want to wipe Israel off the face of the planet. You know, but most of Iranians have shared this sort of sense or feeling. What was the other question you asked?
I think you've done a lot of you've touched on most of the questions, and your submission brings more questions, further questions again. So let me ask this very question. The history or the connection of Iran to Israel, which is even during the biblical period or historically, is very valid. But if nothing at all, one thing is certain. Issues of Israel today is not something of the past. It is a current trending issue. So wouldn't that be inappropriate to have a current affair and be quoting a relationship you had with someone historically? Because someone is genociding a whole community, a whole ethnicity. Please allow me. Let me make my point.
Because you're jumping around.
How can people be genocided? It has been declared as a genocide, and that is why Bibi Netanyahu was even found guilty by the ICC.
Okay, so I agree. Let's say.
I'm only quoting the facts from world acclaimed institutions and how they classify the event in Palestine. So when I say genocide, it's not my opinion. ICC has done that.
Okay,
thank you.
I'm going to give you the answer. Okay. Let me respond. Let me respond
to the point. No, you said something. You made your point. So let me go to my point. Now, the point you made was very beautiful, very beautifully made. The Iranians have nothing or have no problem with the Israelis because we go way back. That is why we want Israel to help us in the region. Frankly speaking, can you tell me an industry that Israel dominates in the world? Can you tell me any industry that Israel dominates in the world that you think Israel is bringing?
Yes,
Allow me.
Israel has the most successful.
When I was speaking, I didn't open the microphone. Please. When you were speaking, you open the microphone.
Well, you're asking multiple questions. You know, just ask me one by one, and I answer, and I give you the point of the Iranian.
No, you're not speaking for the Iranians. You're speaking.
Well, I'm an Iranian, so I speak for myself and the people that I know.
So let me make my point. The more you interject, the more you prolong my submission. Now, listening to you, you see how you actually jump in to defend Israel. It makes your stance very questionable. Because if anything at all, we have a pending issue of people being killed. And then you are quoting history to defend that.
Yeah, because most people are animals.
Okay, so let me respond to your question because you're moving on with your question and you're trying to bring down certain narratives.
I'm here to make my point, Ismail. Let me. If the point is up, I'm now coming to the questions. Allow me.
Well, you're not making one point. You're talking about different things. You know what I would like. Let me go on one by one, and you'll get the mic to talk about it all.
I'm building up to my question. So if you allow me, you get the question I want you to answer and respond to. Or you're intentionally trying to make me lose my train of thoughts. Now,
I'm trying to get one question out of you.
Your argument of you being Indo-Europeans and as such, you having no problem, is just a flimsy excuse. Because if anything at all, one thing that is certain is that any reasonable human being won't see evil and turn their eyes towards evil. Even if you have a history with someone, you don't see evil and turn your eyes from evil.
Yeah, Muslims are evil. Yeah.
The thought that you can be or you have a history with Israel. Unfortunately, you said Indo-European. What you forgot to even say is that the Israelis you are finding over here are Jewish Zionists. They are not ethnic Jews. In fact, the Jews that came to Iran or that Persia, Asian Persia, are not the Jews you are seeing in Israel today. I don't think you know that history. The Jews that you are talking about today are not even the Jews that existed during the period we're making reference to during the biblical era. I don't think we are used to that history.
Okay, cool. So, the question's over.
Allow me. The Jews you are saying today are East European Jews. They are remnants of the Khazari Empire, who were nomadic, Turkic origin, who existed, or the empire existed in the 8th, were established in the 8th and 9th century in Eastern Europe, and collapsed around the 18th century. These guys are remnants of an empire of Eastern Europe and have nothing to do with ethnic Jewish nationality. For your information, the Israel you see today exists under a declaration, which is the Balfour Declaration of 1916 or 1917. That declaration, through the legislation of Thomas Herzl, or the Theodor Herzl, a Polish Jew, actually proposed started a Zionist organization. Through that, they lobbied for a home, for a Jewish state for the Jews. And this Jewish state had to go through the Ugandan scheme. I don't think you know this history.
Dude, we studied this for 12 years. We studied this for 12 years when we go to school.
If you study,
we study every Iranian kid is bombarded with this stuff since we go to school. What do you think they teach us at school? They teach us.
If you knew the
okay, let's wrap up and I'll answer you your question. Okay,
Ismail, allow me.
Okay, you can hate Israel as much as you want. I don't care. I'm going to answer your questions.
No, I don't.
I'm going to answer your questions, dude. Wait, hold on for a second. Hold on for a second. Okay, you can talk about Jews as much as you want. I don't care. I want to answer your question.
You made a factual blunder.
Dude,
to bring you back to the
okay, let's talk about London. Is Saudi Arabia? Okay, I'm gonna the fourth question now. Okay.
I made a factual blunder, and I'm trying to establish the point before I ask you the question. If you don't want to speak, then I can mute my microphone. That is all.
Well, I don't know how many questions you ask, but keep on.
Ismail, as I rightly said, the Israel that exists today has no connection to the ethnicity that Cyrus or Darius the Great actually assisted. There is no connection between them. Unfortunately, you don't know that history. Those of us who do are trying to bring clarity to that. And as I said, the Israel you see today only exists because of the Sykes-Picot Agreement that came into being in 1917 when the Ottoman Empire collapsed and Britain, France, witnessed by the Soviets and Hungary, sat down to apportion and cut up the Middle East like a cake amongst themselves. That is what you are seeing today.
Dude, we know all of this. You're just wasting your time.
I'm giving you facts. If you are tired of the facts, that's
it's not heard. They teach us this at school. Don't go back.
I don't care about your schooling. That didn't make your schooling questionable. Because if your school didn't teach you this, no wonder you are this.
Alright, so you're saying propaganda. Okay, I think that was enough of your propaganda.
Let him answer. So let him answer.
Okay, mate. Let me answer the question. Palestinians are Arabs, right? And they're Muslims, Sunni Muslims and Arabs. Do you agree with this? I'm sure you do.
And they are Jewish too amongst the Palestinians, right?
Okay. Right, yeah, let's say they're Jewish, they're Arabs, they're Muslims as well. Okay. Guess who's Arab? Saudi Arabia. Guess who's Arab? Emirates. Guess who's Arab? Jordan. Guess who's Arab? Syria. Guess who's Arab? Egypt. What the fuck this has got to do with Iranian people? Sorry for my language. What's this got to do with Iranians who are Persian and Shia Muslim? Most of them. Okay? Not a lot of them. What this has got, how Iran further away from Palestine or Jordan? Is Iran further away from Palestine or Lebanon? Why is this the Iranian people's problem? Why is what happening in, let's say, why don't we care about what's happening in Sudan? Is there a genocide in Sudan? Is there a genocide of Rohingya Muslims in Myanmar? Why does this got to do with Iranian people? I'm an Iranian. I've got nothing to share with a Palestinian. I don't even understand the guy's language. It's a genocide. We condemn it. You know, the figurehead of Iranian opposition, the King Reza Pahlavi, he said he's in support of the two-state solution. Iranians who are in opposition, they're in support of two-state solution. We don't support eradication of Israel off the face of the planet. This is the Islamic regime's move. They can pursue it. They can destroy themselves, okay? I don't care about that. That's not my problem. 90 countries in the world have supported two-state solution. Iranian opposition also, we, Iranian people, we support two-state solution. A place for Palestinians, safe to live their lives, and a place for Israelis and the Jews, safe to live their lives, okay? This is our stance. That's your first question. This has got nothing to do with us, okay? As much as it does to do with an American, it's got to do as much as it's got to do with an Argentinian or a Brazilian, it's got to do with an Iranian. Okay, we're not Arabs, we don't speak Arabic, we don't share the same religion as the Palestinians, we're Shia Muslims, they're Sunni Muslims or Wahhabis, a lot of them are Wahhabis like Hamas, okay? So that's your first question. I don't see why an Iranian child is gonna go hungry to bed because the money is gonna be a rocket to be falling on Israel so that Israel is wiped off the planet. I don't see the reasoning in that, and a lot of Iranians don't, and they chant this in street. They say no to Palestine, okay? They say no to Palestine, no to Lebanon, yes to Iran. Because you give your money away to your neighbor if you got food to give your kids. If you don't have food to give your kids, you don't give that money away to your neighbor, okay? This is the reasoning behind that. Now, your second propaganda point was that what industry is Israel good at it? Guess what? Israel is good at water management. Israel's the best water management system and industry in the world, in the whole world. And guess what? Iran is suffering from shortage of water. Iran is suffering from drought. Okay? Due to drought. Due to drought caused, due to sorry?
Look at that. Due to droughts. Natural.
Okay, you can say, dude, you can hate Israel as much as you like.
Your salvation is not a hate, not Israel.
Okay, you can hate Israel. Israel is not good at one thing. Okay, Israel. Okay, I didn't interrupt you. I'll
Bring it to the personal.
5 question. Okay, I'm not making this personal. Okay, I'm talking about the point that you made.
I can answer. Why are you jumping in the middle of his speak? If you are listening, at least respect us, you know?
You said.
You didn't tell
You said.
At least respect us. Let him speak.
You said your second point was that Israel is not good at anything. I don't agree with you. There are a lot of things that Israel is good at. There are a lot of things that Turkey is good at. There are a lot of things that Saudi Arabia is good at. Any other country. Iranian people want to have relationship with every country in the world based on mutual interest. We don't want to wipe countries off the planet. Just like you Americans don't. Just like any other country doesn't want that. 10 million Israelis. What do you want to do with 10 million Israelis? A lot of them second, third generation. We're born there. You want to what? Destroy, wipe them off the planet? The same story with Palestinians. You don't want to destroy the Palestinians either. Why is it? You just want to live a normal life as people in Iran. People want to get up, go to school, raise their kids, get married, buy a house, and bloody die. They don't want bombs falling at their head because the regime wants to test supersonic missiles, you know? We don't want that. We want to be a normal country. People that go in the street and die, they get shot at, including myself. And guess what? My brother's a doctor. He's a surgeon, and he still goes to the street protesting because he can't see a future for his kids. Because the regime wants to, I don't know, pay proxies in Bahrain and Yemen and I don't know, Lebanon and Palestine, and before that it was doing it with in Libya and in all these crazy places that I haven't even traveled to. I can't even point on the map. Why does my money got to go to these countries that I can't even talk to them? Okay, this is the thing. And the second thing, you said Israel is a fake country, etc., etc. All right?
I never said Israel is a bad country. I said
You said it was
that
created
that
at
it's not
Sykes
in
Picot.
history that you know. Can I make it? I want to clarify.
No,
something
wait.
you
I
asked
want to
me.
ask you this question. Which,
No, just
at,
to
at
tell me
what,
months ago.
okay, in what agreement was Pakistan made?
As I said, the statement I made was.
What year was
Would you allow me to-
Pakistan was made? Listen to me. Pakistan was made in 1948. For us Iranians who've been there for 2,500 years, all of this country around us that we look at, they're all countries that are young. Okay? For us,
Exactly.
Israel,
So
for us, Emirates was established 30 years after Israel. Guess what? Qatar was established 30 years after Israel. Guess what? Bahrain used to be part of Iran. There was a referendum 5 years before the revolution, 1974. People in Iran voted for Bahrain. People in Bahrain voted to be a country of their own. For us Iranians who've been there for 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 years, all of these countries are young. We're not going to hate them just because they're a young country. Okay? We're not going to hate Syria because it's a new country. We're not going to hate Pakistan because it was made in 1948. We're not going to hate, Bahrain because it was made in 1972. Okay? That was the answer to your third question. Now, you can talk about the Khazar people and the Pakistan and the Europeans and where the Jews come from. Why do I care? Guess what? Where do you think the Pakistan people come from? Where do you think?
You can't go to the history.
Listen to me, don't teach me history, I'm a history teacher. Lahore's population, because you're getting good answers. I'm giving you good answers. Lahore's population,
Your facts are very tough.
before partition, listen, don't interrupt me.
Your facts.
Don't interrupt me, I'm answering your question. Before partition of India, Lahore's population were 90% Hindu. Guess how many Hindus are in Lahore now? 2%. Okay? Now, do I care about that? No. As much as I don't care about how many Jews were in Tel Aviv or how many Arabs were in Tel Aviv, I care about 600 cities in Iran, their residents, their kids, whether they get education, because of all of this stuff about Palestine and about Yemen and about all these places. People in Iran are dying in the streets. They're doing bin diving. People don't have anything to eat because they want to shoot rockets in Israel. Because Arabs want to have in Jerusalem. Why do I give a hex about where is the capital city of Palestine or Israel when my people don't have food to eat? You know, these are the answers you get if you go to Iran. You know, these are the true answers you get when you go to Iran, because we don't ascribe to this globalism, all these leftist notions about freedom and liberty and happiness. Yeah, guess what? Who's paying the receipts? Who's paying the invoices for those rockets that are being sent to Israel? Iranian people. You know how many people the regime has shot rockets at? 14 countries. They've shot more rockets to Emirates, to UAE, to Dubai than Israel. They've shot 800 rockets in Israel and 2,000 to Emirates. Okay?
Are you expecting them to sell flowers? When do we expect that?
Okay.
Yeah, I expect them to sell flowers. I expect that there will be no war in Iran.
Okay, hold on. As much as I appreciate the dialogue between the two of you, there is 100 people in this room, and I wanted to give an update. It shows that as of this morning, Iran has fired 4 missile salvos at Israel, including reports of cluster warheads. So that's just the update. Do you guys?
Which is a war crime.
What?
Shooting cluster warheads at civilian areas is a war crime.
It isn't a war crime. Israel did the same thing in Palestine.
Yeah, guess what? A pregnant woman dies in Israel.
Yes. Did you condemn it?
Yeah, they defend themselves. Who's defending? Hold on. First of all, you said Iran has fired. There is no relationship between Iran and the regime. Just the same as there was no relationship between the French people and the Vichy government that was appointed by Hitler. We see these people as occupiers, people that are stealing our money, that are waging war against other countries, that have been chanting death to America and death to Israel for 50 years. Since I was born, we were at school, they line us up and they say, you have to chant death to America. I hadn't even known where America was, okay? You can pursue your propaganda, you can you can shove Iranian people under the bus because you want to destroy Israel or whatever, but these people in Iran do not represent the Iranian people. They massacred 40,000 Iranians in blood 2 months ago. And
It's a lie.
and you could
prove it.
I was there, I was shot at.
You
How
weren't there.
dare you
You
call
weren't
that a
there.
lie?
You weren't there.
Okay, there
You
are
weren't-
videos
you weren't
after
there. Prove it to
videos
me
of
that you were there.
thousands of
No.
videos of people getting shot.
You've been a statement. You don't look like
I'm
someone
out of this
who
room.
really knows what you're saying.
This is
Who
like
been there?
Holocaust denial. It's unacceptable. You call
Yes.
it. I've lived the experience. I'm an Iranian and I'm lying to you.
Ismail, you are giving up Hasbara. You are giving up Hasbara movement. Hasbara doctrine.
And the two men that are speaking, where are you guys from? Like, what part of the Middle East? My family was originally from Lebanon, so I'm asking.
Does that mean everything we say should be taken hook, line, and sinker because we are from the Middle East? I just want to know what you want to prove in that question.
Oh, I was just curious. I was just saying because my family is from Lebanon, Beirut, and they migrated to America back in 1938. And I tried to look up what was going on during that time because my grandmother never spoke about it, to learn like what made the move for them, and I couldn't find anything, or maybe I missed something. I was just trying to get a better understanding. And I have another question. When people are pointing the fingers between Israel, USA, and Iran, how come nobody's pointing the fingers at the Brits? Like the Brits, they have the most blood on their hands, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
BRICS is just an economic alliance. So how did they get out of your heads?
They're the ones that
That was
they revamped the map in the regions, and the borders. Okay.
I think
it's a lie. And do you know anything about the Sykes-Picot agreement? Have you ever heard anything about that?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The Sykes-Picot agreement. Do you know anything about that?
Of course.
Yeah, I don't think you do. If you did, you know where the violence in the Middle East is coming from. I don't think you do.
Okay.
One thing, I guess it's because America is being blamed because it inherited the UK or the British Empire, so that's why it's getting blamed for all the things. And I think Israel is just an extension of that.
Yeah.
Exactly, Hussein. He's an extension of that.
Yeah. So it's a bit sad because the guy, he went out because I think he made some points that are understandable. Although he went overboard with his I don't know, proud and nationalistic fever there. Then it went deep into Nazi territory. Saying yeah, because Indo-European language, it's the same. That's a Nazi argument actually, the same thing with anti-Semitism. It's Nazis tried to conflate race and language. So they would say, okay, there are the Indo-European languages and there are Semitic languages, and that's why they called anti-Judaism what was before anti-Semitism the normal way to say that. They turned it into anti-Semitism, and that's why anti-Semitism has been right now the dominating way of saying this. But I to the Iranian people actually because I understand them. I come from Syria, and I had a similar experience actually. And now that the regime fell, I feel we got swindled by the West really hard. We have Al Qaeda terrorists right now, leading the country. and all that he does is actually like murdering Alawites and Druze, and like putting hijab on women. Now he prevented like things from going on there, and Syria is now really divided. So you have some places that are outside the jurisdiction of the country where terrorists can do whatever they want. They kidnap women, for example, in Kurdish regions and in Alawite regions. They can do whatever they want there. They can just shoot anyone they want. And I think this is the way the West envisions Iran. And I don't know, I thought about it for a long time. Why do these regimes, so repressive, and why do they have to go out and do a lot of politics outside of their country? And I think because they're forced to. They can't choose to just like sit by and watch as their country being like overruled and how they being sanctioned and the threat of sanctions very bad. Or you don't
Why they are sanctioned?
What?
Why the regime is sanctioned?
Why the regime is sanctioned? Because they're pursuing their own independence. So they're trying to be independent.
Oh, really? You think that's why?
The thing is,
it had nothing with the American embassy which they took hostage. They took over American embassy.
Well, if you think about it that way, are you okay? Are you okay with that, Rahman? Because that's your argument, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying. You say because
you think Libya should be sanctioned right now?
I'm not Libyan, and I don't know Libya. I'm talking about my country.
Attacked the American embassy. Why do they put sanctions on Iran and not Libya?
I don't know. Maybe they changed the way they were doing. They changed their perspective. Like I don't know. Maybe because
there are slave markets right now. That's your Western ally. That you want him to. There are slave markets right now in Libya.
Okay.
There are no sanctions on Libya. Why? Because they don't pose a threat to the American hegemony.
Okay. Do they say this to America or this to Israel?
What?
Or this to UK? Libya? Do they say the such things?
Okay. You think countries should be sanctioned because they say something?
Well, they are not just saying; they are doing it. They are making a missile and writing on it like this to Israel, this to America.
The missiles were only deployed once they were attacked. Like, come on, like, let's be honest about this, okay? I know you hate the regime. I hate them too. You know, your regime killed so many Syrians. You know.
Well, you understand why you hate them, then at least.
What?
You understand?
Of course, I understand.
The only people who can understand this is Syrian because they did this kind of massive killing in Syria also.
Yeah. I understand this, you know. It sucks, you know. But there is one thing that I think about when I think about Iran. I watch also what Turkey is planning to do. They're planning to take you as our region. Emirates. They're thinking about taking your Arab region. You wouldn't have any place to get water from. If the West wins this war, you know, that's how it would look like for Iran. I'm sorry.
Well, that's the regime propaganda, Pussy.
No, that's not the regime propaganda. That's the problem.
That's the regime propaganda.
Openly talking about that.
Well, that's the regime propaganda.
No, I know some people.
You know who
about that?
I am the people.
Listen. You know who mostly wanted to get separated from Iran? I mean, which region? They're trying for that, you know. They are trying so hard.
The Kurdish region, you mean?
The Kurdish region. And you know how many percent of the Kurdish they want that?
They don't. No, Kurdish. That's the thing about Iran. Kurdish people feel similar to Iranians. You have both of you have Nairuz. Both of you have very cultural. What's the name of it? Big cultural ties, which different than Arab region and Turkish region.
much people feel
Booger
safe to you guys, and they feel proud.
Fuck, you got so many
Many of the
boogers.
Kurds that I met that are from Iran, they told me they feel as proud Persians, you know. And it's different for Iraq but the Azari region, they want to get out.
Actually, other region they don't want to get out. I am Azari. My dad is from Azerbaijan. No. Like if you say such things to Azeris, your life will be in danger, you know. No, really, I'm telling you the truth. Like Azeris, they are so proud Iranian, okay, and like the least people who want to. I just want to respond to some of the things that you mentioned. First of all, so let me. I want to finish some topic. Lucy said that his experience. So what is all this back and forth for? No. Wait. Ismail told you a lot of things, but I think he forgot to mention something. You know why Iranians don't like Palestinians? Because before 1979 revolution, okay, Shah was giving money to Palestinians to feed, to eat, you know, and what they were doing, they were giving with that money, they were giving weapons to the Iranian Islamic fighters, or they were training them for this guerrilla war or whatever it is, and they were sending the cars full of weapons to the Iran. So the Mujahideen or like this Islamic people fight against Shah. You know, this is the one of the reason the people don't like Palestinians. It's a lie. No, it's not a lie. There's a lot of reasons. You can search it. It's not lie. It's not lie. You can go and search it. It's not a lie. It's conclusion. It's a lie. No, I said his history. No, I said his lie. He said that is why Iranians hate Palestine. No, we don't hate Palestine. No, I didn't say hate. Wait. Don't put the word in my mouth. I use the word don't like. You wait. No, I say the word don't like. Why Iranians don't like Palestinians? Lucy, am I lying? We love Palestinian people. Let me just one second. If I say that, I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. No, you just want to talk and you want to have your voice heard and no one else is. But we don't like our money go there. It's right. We don't like Hamas. We don't like.
I know. And being that, I mean, you're not either one, how can you speak for those people? It's just very rude. Okay. There was somebody that I heard that maybe wanted to speak and it was a new voice and
Can we hear more actually, because he said he's from Azerbaijan.
I'm not from Azerbaijan. I'm telling you that my parents are Azeri from Iran. So the claim you made that is not totally right. I just want to tell you that you don't compare your country with my country. First of all, we have a king. Probably when we have a king, if he comes back, then we can have a unity under his name. So that what happened during the Second World War when other countries invaded us. For example, I'm not calling the other countries allies or whatever. And after that, the separatists they came up. They separated Kurdistan. They separated Azerbaijan. But after 6 years, and our kings brought his power back and went and took this region back to Iran. So what are you claiming is going to happen again and again? As long as we have king, we could do the same thing to that region. But why didn't you do that? Because we didn't have king. Probably Iraqi why they didn't do that because they killed their king. So and the second thing that you mentioned, because Ismail left, he mentioned about the root of the language is a fact. Our language is the root is European Indian. So this is fact. It doesn't mean anything. It means that he claimed that to just show the other people that we are speaking another another type of language, not Arabic. And the thing is that, first of all, I just want to say that I am the person who is moving from Tehran and coming back. I'm surgeon. I'm working in Dubai and Tehran. Sometimes I'm moving to Tehran. Sometimes I'm in Dubai. Now I'm in Dubai and I can't go back there. And I'm just risking my life to tell you guys that the people of Iran thinking that they want to have their freedom, no matter what is happening in Israel. I live people in Iran, they don't care about Palestine and Israel. If they have some issue between them, they have to solve it on their own. We don't have money to pay to the proxies to attack Israel because of nothing. And then the thing that Husi mentioned about the Husi and the others mentioned Rahman, he is lying, but he is not lying actually. Shamran is one of the biggest guy in Iran who is just made the revolution, and after the revolution he joined the Revolutionary Guard in the very first place. He was trained in Palestine at that time. So why you are defending something that you don't know, and you are accusing us that we are lying of the history?
I do not accuse you.
No, I'm not talking Husi. This one is not for you. This one is for that person. I don't know what is his name. He is saying that you are lying. No, Shamran, I'm giving you name. Go search for his name. Shamran, he just trained in Palestine and he came back to Iran. His father is Shah. And when he overthrown the Shah, they took over. They built up IRGC to help back again the Palestine. That's what happened in the history. And don't bring me the history because the country in the region, most of them built up after 110 years ago. So if the whole country in the region is 110 years ago. Like I'm not talking about Turkey itself. But so just to mention that there's so many things he accused us and like we are doing like this, we are doing like that. But I am telling you the answer. I am moving back and forth in Iran. I know my country better and I know the situation there better than all of the other people who spoke here. Because I am gaining money. Now I have a clinic in Tehran. I cannot use it anymore because I'm talking here. And you're accusing me to not. I don't know what you're thinking. We don't think about Palestine. We don't think about Israel. We just want us as an Iranian to be free. Our country not going to be like the other country in the region because we have things. I promise you, you give me the chance to bring the king back to the position. I will promise you, you will see what is Iran was before and what it will become.
Just one add to add some one sentence to his what Mr. Poor said. Shamron, he became the Minister of Defense in Iran after.
Yeah, it's well known actually that many groups actually trade in Palestine, but like not only the IRGC but also the PKK and other, and also I think some of the South African national movements, anti-apartheid movements. So I understand your grievance, but I think also we're like different from political opinion. I think kings are bad. I'm anti-monarchist. I think I'm also German citizen, so I know when monarchists talk, actually, like the Nazis came out of monarchists in Germany because monarchy is not compatible with industrial societies. So that's why I think, to be honest, once I'm sorry to tell you, I'm Druze, okay? I'm from Sueda. This is like the southern part of Syria that got attacked right now. No one in Sueda would have said they wanted to separate from Syria. They want to separate from Syria. These things could happen on a whim. Someone comes in, kills a lot of people, and everyone want to separate. And everyone want protection, especially if it's like on a genocidal level. So I think while your argument right now, and I believe that the people of Iran in general are very proud of their Iranian heritage and want to stay in that country. I think this could change entirely. I think right now, if Azerbaijan offers a lot of Azaris you could become a citizen of Azerbaijan, and you'll get like most of the money. The people who are poor are going to take that offer. Are not going to stay in Iran, sadly.
Because you don't know the region, the place that they are talking about Azari. The place that they are calling for Azari, and they want to take it to Azerbaijan. Most of the Kurdish leader born there. You understand? Which means it should be like 100 years of fighting in that region. There will be a massive bloodshed in that region if they want to do that. Want that because if see most of the Kurdish
but like Azerbaijan is strong, dude. Like it's
yes,
it can't take Iran right now.
Listen, I'm giving you the answer. You are talking about a part of my country, which in some part of it, most of the Kurdish leader born there. Also, you attach that part to the Azerbaijan. This is not possible. There will be a massive bloodshed there. There will be a thousand years of fighting.
Excuse me, can I just have a second? Because I'm waiting to talk, but everybody. Just a second. Sorry, were you finished? Or okay. I just want to tell about some of you. Yeah, talked about monarchy back to Iran. It's only maybe 15 or 20% they want monarchy. The rest don't want monarchy. We know that we are proud of our the history, which was monarchy. We are proud of it, but it will remain as our history. We don't want back because it wasn't democracy at that time. We know it's possible to have a constitutional law in power, and this will help not only for Iran, the rest of the world will have joy of this democracy in Iran and as well Middle East will have better future if a constitutional law come in power. Not any prince, not any dictator. He just established a new dictator out of Iran. We Iranian don't want him. We feel very fresh and dictator system outside Iran. He established actually. Right now, we feel it. We Iranian don't want him. We feel a dictator and some fresh anti-Iranian. Some of you talked about monarchy back. We don't want monarchy back.
Can I respond because he's pointing at me? Can I respond? No.
We want only constitutional democracy. People like that for democracy. Okay, we don't want any person. We don't want any person dictator back. Okay, we don't need it.
Sorry.
We have referendum. No, sorry, but when we have referendum, then you can vote for it. But at the moment, we just want our
yeah, because someone told every Iranian, not every Iranian wants him back. Only now it's 20%. Only 20%. Not every Iranian. He established a dictatorship outside Iran. We feel it. We feel it.
I want to respond to you because you accused me of something. I said he didn't accuse me. He said
no. Most don't want. Most want democracy. They have democracy, freedom, human life, freedom.
I've seen the people rising the flag of Shah.
Yeah, because he just claimed and he used those.
Why? Okay, you are
abused Iranian. He came with lies, sent people out to the street and killed people. Okay. He have to answer all of those who were killed. All of those who were killed, he also have to answer for it because he came with You just the first thing you say you want mullah. I don't want mullah. Everybody who against regime and dictator, they accuse you are a mullah side. No, I'm not mullah side.
Something I want to answer you.
I'm not mullah side. I'm not dictator side. Any dictator, any
Yes,
person,
you are
any
the kind of
person we don't want. Most Iranian
clear
can't.
situation.
Woman, no, I'm not finished. I'm not finished. Be quiet. Be quiet. Every Iranian.
Rose, you just finished.
You
got. Wait,
No, I want to
sorry,
finish.
hold on. Okay, sorry. Nona, you can finish. You have 20 seconds, and then we'll go to Rose, and then we'll go to Liz.
Can you give me mic also?
We don't want any more dictators.
It's my turn. We heard you. Okay. So, you said most of Iranians, they don't want Pahlavi. First of all, you said he. Well, you should have mentioned his name at first place. Well, he has been asking people to go for protesting because people in Iran, the day before the actual protest, they have called his name. And because they have called his name, he has started to telling them, okay, now's the time for you to go out and protest. Don't answer me. Don't interrupt me. Now, who do you think you are to tell us that most of Iranians they don't want Allah? And who do you think you are? And who do you think you are that
Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are?
No, who do you think you are to tell us after 45,000 people has been killed that most of people they don't want Pahlavi? They have called his name, and obviously after the referendum, you can obviously vote for anything you like, but at this moment
Because he hijacked movement. He have a hijacked movement. Easily hijacked movement because people Iranian suffering, and he used his voice international.
He had so many speeches. Okay, so he had so many speeches in Europe and America. Okay, that he has never ever mentioned, or he hasn't done any action to say that that I would like confirm that he is a dictator. He has never done any.
We feel it. We as a
like that. Okay.
Those Iranian against him, we feel dictator because
No,
we
no,
can't say I don't dare.
No, one at a time. So
Yes, it is true.
I'm not
So
finished.
Rose's point to land, and then Nona, I'll let you have a quick response, and then we're gonna move on.
Yeah, I'm just gonna finish it here. You're not a person that talk behind all Iranians. All I'm saying is, who do you think you are? You come on this stage and say Reza Pahlavi is a dictator, okay?
Because I feel it.
The only thing we as an Iranian want is IRGC to finish them. We don't want them anymore. And America and Israel are helping us. Well, we're hoping that they're helping us, okay, to get out of this situation. Well, after they're gone, then there is a referendum. You can vote in whatever you want, okay? And that's it.
I do have respect. Excuse me, let me answer. I do have respect to those people who want monarchy. I do have respect. Some people want, but I don't like the way he did. I actually was one of Iranian who believed him. I was thinking he can help us over this transition, but I see he can't. He can't do that. It's not only. It doesn't help if you're only the son of the Shah and you have good. Yeah, you have to have some ability, leadership ability. He doesn't have leadership ability. He just everything he tried, he couldn't. With all respect I have with all those people he wanted, they have to see transition time is most important time to come to democracy.
Nana, or I'm gonna lose my patience. Good morning, Nana. 30 more seconds. Alex, 30 more seconds, Nana. And then straight to
Yes, that's all. That's all. I think I told what I
Please, can we respect ourselves and allow other people to actually add their views?
All right, go ahead, Alex. The mic is yours.
You know, you try to jump on
Never said such a thing, and as the Iranian, I think so many people here that they're talking about the situation, they're not a good representative of the Iranian nation. And, I think you guys have to calm down and just, the people that they're against Pahlavi, the people that they're Pahlavi, you guys should know that, he's only going to be here for now for the transformation phase. And that most of the people, even in America, that they're Iranian, they're going to protest, and they're just there for the unity, and they chant King Reza Pahlavi. Most of the people that I see, they are not within the movement, but they're just there for the unity. So please, if you're talking in general public, be good representative of your people, Iranian people. The reality is these days, people they talk so much shit about Iran, and you guys doing this and saying this stuff is adding to the fact that we don't have unity. And at the end of the day, there's going to be the referendum, and in that referendum, everyone can have their opinion, and no one can force anyone to have the opinion that they don't have. That's why we are actually trying to get rid of this oppressive regime. So,
Thank you, Alex. Thank you. So good morning, everybody.
just one second.
Nona, actually, I heard Ann, and she said you've gotten ample mic time, and when I got in the room, it seemed like there was only 2 voices. So let's take a
I
moment.
just came to this room. I just came.
Okay.
I didn't use
All
my
right.
30
And also,
seconds.
you're interrupting me, which is a problem.
no, that's not.
And if you need a little vacation, need a little vacation in the goo, I can make that happen. Let me reset the room. Serendipity created this room last night, listening to Trump's speech, an update on the Israel-U.S. Iran war, our conflict. And we listened to him speak. There is a poll in the Jumbotron as well as our instructions. And let me go over them super, super quick, and then maybe we can pass the mic and have some new voices. And looks like you pulled an all-nighter. Thanks so much to the mods who are dedicated to building the new political playhouse house. The rules are room creators curate content. Mods may interrupt you. You may not. Keep comments short and sweet. That seems like it might be a problem for some of us. Moderate yourself or we will. So, good morning. I would like to hear from some new voices, even though I just got here. Alex, why don't you make your comment, and then we'll see maybe 3 more speakers, Nana, and then you can make another brief comment, if that's okay. Go ahead, Alex.
The situation that we're having now is, I live in America. I've been really Americanized by the years that I have lived here. But the thing is, I think, most of the people say America is trying to help Israel, America is trying to liberate Iran. The truth is America is just doing this for the reason and its own benefits. Which, I'm totally up for it because I'm idea is if you go and see the numbers of how much America spent yearly on worldwide, um, like army deployment or war deployment, I mean, war zone deployments, it's more than, I think, 1.5 trillion or 2 trillion. But in only Middle East, it's more than 2 to 300 billion. And if America has kind of, centralized power in Iran or around there, it would be much easier for America to spend less money and have less troops in Middle East. So, as an Iranian American, I would say, somehow when the war started and everything got to this place, I was like, people in Iran, they might suffer, but in Farsi we say, wars, they don't hand out candies. So wars, they're usually going to have casualties. So people should look at it in a way that what is the bigger goal? What is the bigger picture? And of course, as Iranian, I'm upset and sad for my people. But what can I do? The only thing that I can do is that I'm this side of the nation. I cannot make decisions for them. But what I can tell or what I can see is hopefully one day Iranian people would be free from this oppressive regime. And at the end of the day, no one.
Hello. Goodbye. Go ahead, 30 more seconds, Alex.
Yeah, so no one would love their country to get bombed from another country, but apparently this was the only thing that, would actually work against Iranian government. And trust me, I hope this goes in a way that not many people suffer a lot and there are not many casualties from either side. And hopefully one day Iran gets liberated and, Reza Pahlavi comes for the transformation phase and we have actually a government that's chosen by the people.
Alex, what kind of government do you see will be successful? What kind of government do you hope to see in Iran? And do the Iranian people have the ability to maintain it?
Honestly, Iranian people, they are really cultured. So I would say it's really up to the moment that what's going to be chosen. But I believe since Iranian people are so cultured, the only thing that is going to work is kind of a democracy. So I wouldn't see that, like a kingdom or something like that would work. Not only I would say it's because, Iranian people, especially the younger age, they think that, not not in a way that Reza Pahlavi is not a good person. He's just not govern the country in a way that they want their country to be governed. So they want kind of a democracy. And since they have never ever experienced that in the past 47 years, of course, kind of a democracy that would actually help them to have a future, help them to be free, and help them to be recognized as a human.
All right, thank you, Alex. So, can I just there's no cue. I kind of like popcorn. I do think.
Okay.
Nona, two more people, and then maybe you can take the mic briefly. Go ahead, Miss.
Okay. Thank you, Monica. Thank you very much. I am very particular about listening to people, and that interest I always prioritize in every conversation. I always say this, even in our own respective smaller families. Sometimes making decision, we all have people with diverse opinions. So it's always problematic for me, and I know every reasonable person will understand this, when you have to make a statement and then say all of us, 90 million people, accept that statement to be true. Practically, naturally, it doesn't make sense because you can't have the whole country agreeing on one thing. It really happens. Even your own small family of 7, decision making sometimes is impossible. People have diverse opinions. So how come a whole country has one opinion? It doesn't make sense practically. There will definitely be people against and for. So I prefer that when we are having conversations, those for and against should all be allowed to air respect to Pahlavi, it's quite interesting that Alex said that there might be the system needed by the Iranians might be democracy. But then, for the meantime, Pahlavi, after the war ends, Pahlavi should come in and hold the place until referendum is held. Forgetting that Pahlavi himself is a monarchist. So what is Pahlavi going to hold until referendum is held? For what reason is he going to hold? Because he himself is a monarchist. But allow me to end, please. I didn't interrupt when you were speaking. But then we should allow him to hold the place. So that until we can hold referendum and then move to democracy, then why should he even be made to hold the place? He should stay somewhere. After everything, let the people themselves lead themselves with the institutions available. Or whatever way they can do it, so that they can choose whether Pahlavi should come in or not. Why should we bring him in and then have a referendum to either go monarchy or democracy, if that is what you are advocating for? To me, that was just a subtle appeal for support for Pahlavi and trying to actually conceal it in a non-differentiated position, which I know it is. That's what he did as a strategist man like myself. Now, let's go to the next point. I like what Nona said. Nona made a lot of good and beautiful points with respect to Pahlavi. I'm asking a question. Pahlavi, Reza Pahlavi, I want to have, ever since the 167 school kids on the first day were born, I want an Iranian to show me where Pahlavi condemned that assault. I want to show. It has been proven, let's not forget, it has currently been proven that the Tomahawk missile came from the US and Israel, their collision. I want to have someone here as an Iranian or as a pro-Pahlavi give me proof where Pahlavi condemned or has condemned that strike on the school kids. Not one. He hasn't condemned it in any way. If even you have a pulse to liberate your people, at least such an act against them, no matter what your position is, for the sake of humanity, for the sake of reasonable morality, you would have condemned. He's yet to condemn. If anyone over here thinks they have any evidence to that effect that he has condemned, let them show it to me. None. Till today. And then this
I see a mod opening his mic, miss, so 30 more seconds and then
okay.
we'll go.
And then we have someone over here. I see Pahlavi being a person with a leadership skill. Even me outside analyzing him, he seems to be a stooge who can't think for himself. Because even YouTubers, Russian YouTubers were able to scam him or deceive him into having a video call with them, posing as German agents. He wasn't able to even know that these guys are not new. Governor from the German this person with that less of situational awareness wants to lead the whole country of 90 million plus. And he doesn't qualify to be a leader. You can choose someone else, not a dafty man like him. Sorry to say.
All right. Thanks so much. Hey, good morning, Ocean. Mike Shore.
Morning, Monica. Where you? Well, I just find it very fucking interesting and funny and sad at the same time how everyone from all over the world are telling Iranians what you should choose and what you shouldn't choose. First of all, buddy, it's none of your business what Alex or Nona as an Iranian want. They want what they want for their country. It's none of your business. Go pay attention to your country. You're not neither an American, you're not an Israeli, you're not an Iranian. So these countries and these people are in whatever it is, they have this problem together, they're fixing it together. It's none of your business. If you were an American, then I could say, okay, fine, as an American, you're worried about your people, you're worried about your soldiers, you're worried about this and that. It's none of your business. If they want constitutional monarchy, they will get constitutional monarchy. If they want absolute monarchy, they will get absolute monarchy. If they want a republic, they will get a republic. Say it one more time.
concerns that they won't be able to maintain it?
No, I really don't. I honestly do not have any concern. Once they're free from this tyrannic regime, and I'm not a supporter of Reza Pahlavi. If he's good for the job, he's good for the job. He has a very good plan. I went through his plan, uh, to be there for the transition, and I think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna work. And if it doesn't work, guess what? They're gonna go with the. If people don't like it, they're gonna go with the other options out there. But he's the only opposition, basically. He's the only option, as of right now, at least, for the people of Iran. There's no one else anything close to him. There's nobody. He's the only one. He's the rightful one. And yeah, that's it.
All right, so I guess there's some concerns because he was so close to the constitutional monarchy that they had in the past that they feared that he'll assume power.
Monica, do you want to know what some of these non-Iranians' problem is with Reza Pahlavi?
Yes.
I'll tell you what.
And then we'll hear from Nona because she's been very patient.
And if you pay attention, a lot of them are. If you pay attention, a lot of them are not even American. A lot of them are either Muslim or from other countries. And the reason they don't like him, which is none of their business. I mean, they could go what the fuck ever they want to do with their own life, is because they hate Israel. So these people that they talk shit about Reza Pahlavi is because they hate Israel. Israel, before revolution, had an okay, good relationship with Iran. Reza Pahlavi also have a good relationship with Iran. So the only reason you hear like someone like this guy, I don't know what his name is, Pistra, someone like this guy or other Muslims, they come talk shit about Reza Pahlavi is because they hate Israel. They don't want a country, non-Muslim country, which Iranians, vast majority of them rejected Islam, also a non-Arab country, a nation of 90 million, fifth country when it comes to natural resources, access to Caspian Sea, controlling of the Strait of Hormuz. They don't want that nation to be an ally to Israel. They see it as a fucking danger to them. That's the only reason you hear these people talk shit about him. They have no idea who he is. They have no idea who his father was. Every Arab nation was afraid of his father because Iran was the strongest country in that region during that time. Every single one of them have the fear of a strong Iran. So they now, at that point, when a strong Iran comes back and is an ally to Israel, they fucking fear that shit with their entire being. That's why you hear them fucking, instead of going feeding their kids, they come here and talk shit about us.
Good morning, Nidlaf. I can see you. I did promise Nona the mic. Nona, I really need you to be brief and succinct. I saw 3 other people go off mute, Ilya, Alex, and Nidlaf. I'd like to direct people to the poll. If we get 200 votes in this poll in the next 5 minutes, I'll take it down and I'll ask the room what kind of government do they see being successful in Iran. I'll take suggestions for the poll in the chat. Nona, please be brief. The mic is yours.
Is mine now? Thank you.
For a little while. Not a long while.
I just want to say, we Iranian love Israel and America. But when it's about Reza Pahlavi, he was only that could split Iranian and played so bad role because we was united when women life freedom movement was going on. We all was united Iranian, no conflict. But after he come, every every Iranian now is we face a huge dictatorship. He doesn't represent freedom. He doesn't represent democracy because he is represent monarchy. He can't be our representative. We want Republican. We want constitutional law in power, not any person, any dictator that we face his dictatorship. And everybody who say we don't want him, we gain a label as we are united with regime. It's not right. We don't want regime. We don't want any person. We don't want king. And he, if you read the Monich book, it's only is about translation. Is about him. He says we are gonna have control over those persons around him. They want to have control over translation, and we don't have chance to come up. It's gonna be exactly the same Khomeini did last time, last 47 years ago. He had translation over control over, and he gonna do the same. If he represent democracy, why we don't feel democracy now, which we are outside Iran? We don't feel it. So everybody is ready. So sorry, and that. So the only thing we want constitutional law, like exactly like America, constitutional law come in power, and I don't think the American law, it doesn't allow any person, another country come to take over power and any kingdom. It doesn't support any kingdom, any absolute power, and it's just a lie, big lie. They want to bring democracy and constitutional like Democrat, constitutional like England.
Look, bro, I know you tried to get in, and I also know that Nona knows that she needs to wrap it up. But I did mention Ilya and Alex and Needlaw, who've been very patient.
Yeah, okay. I have been patient too. So that constitutional, not any person is overall system, but it's constitutional. He gonna bring his only, and he split Iranian in lots of conflict. It's not here only. He just can't lead. It's not about being son of the Shah. It doesn't help. You have to have knowledge. You have to have knowledge about politics. You have to. He doesn't have. He just.
All right. Thank you, Nona. Ilya, go ahead.
It's not right. You just.
Talking a lot, sorry. Ilya, go ahead.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I was waiting for a long time because there was a guy here from Iran and he was speaking about the history of Iran and Israel. And then from the releasing Jewish people 2,500 years ago, which was a true history, he concluded that okay, then Israel expanded in years. And after 2 years, we don't think that even this type of people who are supporting him let him to go and give the power to someone else. So that is why we people, people like me, I don't say that everybody support Pahlavi or everybody is against Pahlavi. Some people want Pahlavi, some people doesn't want, but people like me think that the risk that he stay in power is too high, and I myself doesn't support him. And also the person who are saying sorry for the death of other soldiers that attacked my country, but not saying I my condolences to the school that are dead in the he didn't do anything. So for me, it would not be representative of Iranian people. Thank you so much for giving me this.
So can I ask you a question?
Well, hold on, Alex. Then Poor has been desperately trying to get in. Oh, actually, Alex Vlog in the chat, and then Poor Por if he's still here. If not, thank you, Alex. The mic is yours.
Yeah, Monica, I'm just gonna ask this guy a quick question. So you're saying Israel, with population of almost 10 million, wants a greater Israel, get Syria, get Jordan, get Iraq, and go a couple thousand miles inside of Iran and get the city of Hamadan? Like, is this seriously, like, this is the way you think?
That is the fact.
For 9-10 million people?
That is the fact. No, that's how he thinks.
Okay, it's David. I'm saying David Ocean.
Ocean,
I don't know what the fuck is mine. Go ahead, Alex.
Okay, so
I don't need
what the thing is, what you guys don't know about it is that this idea is from the Old Testament, from Torah, and it's not even feasible to do this in hundreds of years. And the benefit of this happening is nothing for Israel, because as Ocean said, like, you have 10 million population, but you don't have enough people to populate this big area. It's not going to be beneficial for you. So why Israel would do that? Instead, the only thing that could happen is that Iran holds up as a country, and Israel will just be an ally. So don't you guys have to think it through. It's not even possible for Israel to multiply by hundreds of millions to just populate the whole Middle East. And at least if you went add up the population from Iraq, I don't know, Syria, Iran, it's going to end up somewhere around like 130, 140. And Israel itself, as Ocean said, it only has 10 million. So how on earth Israel is going to bring 140 million people to Middle East just from regenerating and keep birth to other people, other nations. So that's not even possible. When what is this guy's name? Pistra says that, I totally get it, because it shows you how uneducated they are. But about let me ask you this question. I'm not pro Pahlavi, and if I have ever been there to the protest, it was only because of the unity. It was between people. But my question from you is that when you say he's going to hold up to the power for 3 years, have you ever read his plan and what he has in mind through the booklet he has published online?
Thank you, Alex.
No, it's just a question. You're gonna answer it.
Yeah. To answer the first question, I still think that the long-term plan of Israel is greater Israel, and many Jewish people are waiting for more soil to be occupied and immigrate to Israel. That is the plan, and even the son of Benjamin Netanyahu tweet about that. You can search it. And I think that now they openly speak about that.
See? No, I'm not Israeli. I'm Iranian. I can speak
No, 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 no.
Iranian.
Alex, you are Jewish Israeli.
No, I'm Persian Jewish.
No, you are Jewish Israeli.
How about we don't tell people who they are and what they believe? That's actually one of my pet peeves. Lilach, after Alex takes 10 seconds, Alex, to wrap it up, the mic is yours, sir, and then we're heading over to POR. Thank
So,
you.
just so you know, I wanted to show you guys that people, they make claims of who they are and they're not. And I just asked a simple question from Elia in Hebrew. And if you read Hebrew, you could have easily answered it. And you know, as a Persian Jewish, you know, I was born in Iran. And I left Iran long time ago. But that doesn't mean that I don't have any heart or emotion. I'm talking, Elia. Shut the fuck up. I'm talking.
Alex, your positioning tells everything. You don't need to just there to know who you are. Ilya has made certain good points. I'm still.
Okay, thing is, it doesn't mean that he's not Christian.
You know,
Jewish.
you
I
can't
have that.
even try and tell him who he is, what he is. I brought up what part of the Middle East are you from, and you said, "Why are you asking me that?" Refused to even answer, even after I explained why I had asked you that question. So, like, where are you from, sir?
And what that validates the history and the facts Alex is giving.
Hello?
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that if I'm Persian Jewish, I don't have a heartful emotion for Iran and Iranian people. So that's where you're wrong, and you cannot have any goddamn opinion about Iranian people. Shut the fuck up, obviously. If there is a conversation between me and Ilya, you just gotta let me and Ilya finish it. You're giving Iranian to intervene.
All right. So I did promise Lilach the mic, and I do try to keep my promises. Ladies and gentlemen, if we can get through this informal cue quickly, we can go back to popcorn. Go ahead, Lilach.
Okay, thank you very much. It's Kitover. But
Well,
I just wanted to first
I
wish
want to find out.
all those on stage a wonderful Pesach and currently having at the moment, and those who are going to be celebrating Easter in the next few days. Happy Easter to you.
Oh, Pesach's in here.
So I wanted to talk about a couple of things. I'm not going to
you can hear better in the goo.
Yes. Just thank you, Monica. I just want to say some stuff like because they mentioned something about my country regarding Reza Pahlavi or whoever wants to take over the country. From which Alex said, no, none of them have read this booklet very well, and every aspect of the thing going to happen in those years, like if he takes over the power, mentioned in detail. And also you can send him an email and you add something, and if it's logical, they would add it inside that booklet. The, the reason that most I can say from the accent that Ilya has and Nona has, which party they are coming from and who are they supporting. But I'm not going to enter to that because it's nonsense. Just the thing is that I'm telling you the country which is under tyranny for 47 years or 50 years, and there is no party. Like let's say in US we have Democrats, we have these other parties, like Republican. In Europe we have like Greens and Christian and lefties. In Iran there is no party. How do you want to build a constitution without having a transitional period? And for that transitional period, if you want someone to can count on it, like the way that Aintlach said, that you have to have someone for transition. You can count on him. You can see that there will be no mass murder. There will be no execution. There will be no suffering of other people. So you have to have someone reliable. The thing that Mr. Trump is already looking into, he is actually looking into someone he can negotiate with it, but which is not possible. That's the issue that Trump is already confronting now because he cannot find someone to really negotiate with it, and he wants to have a peace without bombing other places. He is guarding Iranian, he is guarding IRGC. That okay, we have the air, we have everything. We can bomb and come in, but just be wise and stay in the table and come negotiate. Or if you want, and then that's why I just want to divide it to this. Mr. Trump couldn't find someone accountable that have a conversation with. We want Pahlavi because he is the only one who can sit on a table and guarantee that there will be no mass murderer, there will be no execution. So that is the thing. That why don't you guys read that booklet? Read it and come here and just be against it. I'm not willing.
I promised you that I never read anything about it.
We are against them. We have read and
Out of respect for, it looks like you even haven't read the booklet yourself. Okay? I'm not trying
I
to
read
be
it. Like,
against
okay,
you.
you want to
You
say
know,
that?
I'm just trying to say, if you read that booklet truly, you talking about the mass murdering and all the things you said, it's not even mentioned. Okay? And the thing is, that booklet is more about the transition phase and how.
Because you are not listening. When
Go ahead, Kili.
Sorry, somebody mentioned earlier about this idea of the Greater Israel Project. I just want to talk about this piece of propaganda that's been going around over the last couple of years, 3 years almost, in relation to the idea that Israel is an expansionist country. So here's the thing, yeah. Imagine you're a tiny country with a pretty robust population, but small. And yet all you want to do is effectively protect your own people. So here's the thing. Every single buffer zone that has been created on the borders of Israel, not one Israeli is living in that buffer zone. Those buffer zones have been created for one thing only, and that's protection. The reason why they've been created for protection is effectively that there needs to be a buffer so that missiles aren't lobbed into Israel from in every corner of every border fence that there is around Israel. So the idea of an expansionist program is completely out of the question. It is specifically there for protection.
But your ministers are saying that they're going to move there.
The ministers aren't saying anything about moving.
Come on, come on.
No, that's in your brain. You see TikTok videos. You watch.
I'm talking about going into.
No, you didn't. You're a liar because he didn't say that at all. There's been nothing said about moving into those areas.
George didn't say that.
No, there are talks effectively about building villages and building communities within the parameters, within Israel's borders, and within Israel's owned land. There's nothing about building buildings and communities within buffer zones because buffer zones are there for protection. And the reason why buffer zones are there is because if anybody moved into a buffer zone, they'd be the first target for any enemy on the front line. So I think we have to be very careful with what we say when we're talking about the idea of an expansion.
Can I add something to what you're saying? Can I add something to what you just said?
Yeah, there was some Israelis moving into the buffer zone of Syria.
So, the thing is, people that they are all in for IRGC and Iranian government, they have to understand the fact that if you see in some
I'm not for the IRGC.
No, I'm not talking to you, I'm just talking to general public.
Okay.
So, people that they're in support of IRGC and they're supporting Palestine, and they're against Israel, they have to understand the fact that if IRGC wasn't there to help Hamas and other terrorist groups in the Middle East, as a Jewish person, I can assure you that Israel wouldn't have that much of maneuver over the places that had to actually enter and get. Do you agree with me? Neil Lech?
No, I agree with you. Alex. Listen, I know you're a Persian Jew, my friend, but this is one Jewish word you need to learn how to say properly. Kneitlach.
Okay. So, Israel wouldn't have, do you agree on what I'm saying? Like, Israel wouldn't have that much of a maneuver on the places that, actually got acquired by Israel when in the time of the war. If IRGC wasn't there to actually throw the war at some specific regions, Israel wouldn't have that maneuver to go and actually get into those places.
Well, you're wrong. Because
Muslims and Arabs are lunatic and barbaric anyway.
No, if the help wasn't there, because
if IRGC wasn't there, still these Muslims, 21 IRGC was not there. 1920 fucking 3 IRGC was not there. 1920 fucking 7 there was no IRGC.
I agree. Forget IRGC for a second. Forget IRGC for a second. If you look at the Lebanese border at the moment, you will see that there are Hezbollah towns, effectively, that have been destroyed and blown up to smithereens.
Villages, you mean?
Villages, yeah, villages.
Yeah.
And the reason being, and the Christian villages have been left intact.
No, they're not. Two Christian villages were bombed.
No, they weren't because they were taken priests. What the hell, dude? You're not informed at all.
No, I am informed. And if you go and have a look in the reasons as to why they were attacked because they were being used as a weapons hub for Hezbollah. That's the only reason why they get attacked. There are plenty of Christian
Every time you kill Christian, it's
there are plenty
and if you kill Muslim, it's okay.
No, it's not about killing Muslims. Absolutely not. It's about killing Islamic terrorists who decide that they want to take it in their own hands to point their missiles at Israel and fire at Israel. Nothing more than that. And they stopped doing that. If they didn't do that and they put down their weapons, they would.
Well, they didn't do that for the last like 2 years, and you blocked them anyway.
As simple as that. It's as simple as that. No, that's nonsense. Because I can tell you something now. If Israel wanted to, they could have carpet bombed half of Lebanon if they wanted to.
Yeah, they was that out now. What the fuck, dude?
What the fuck, dude? They're actually hitting those Hezbollah.
But they're bombing it right now. Like,
yeah.
like Israel.
Yeah.
It's
Hezbollah is firing missiles daily.
No, I understand till Israel.
We've had the biggest barrage of missiles come over from Lebanon that we've seen in the last few days. So don't give me that bullshit. The reason why they're being hit hard is because these idiots are pulling out their RPGs and trying to fire bombs into Israel.
Can you just like one question? Do you agree that they're carpet bombing, but Lebanon or not? That's my question.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
You're not.
No, they're not.
Okay.
No, they're not.
Okay.
So you
Just get the point.
Hold on. It's not some bullshit. So you tell me for the past fucking 2 years after October 7th, Israel is carpet bombing fucking Gaza, and only 70,000 people died in that small tiny ass area.
I don't think it's 70,000 people, to be honest. I think it's 1,000.
Oh, it's probably 70, 100 million people, right? It's not such a bullshit, but why do you, hold on, let me ask you this. Why do you think Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, none of these countries give a fuck about those people over there? Because even those
They're rich.
Because those Muslims know these Muslims are fucking barbaric and fucking stupid. And they're a bunch of terrorists. And they don't give a fuck about them. They have time in their countries. Your Muslim brothers don't want you in their countries. Do you understand that?
I was Kuwait actually.
Sorry, Ocean, if you don't mind.
Sorry. Can I just say something?
Hold on.
I have been waiting long. Sorry.
I don't care you're waiting long. So imagine how fucked up you have to be for your own people. They are Arab, you are Arab. They are Muslim, you are Muslim. They don't want nothing with you. Why? Because you guys are
Ocean, can I just be honest? Can we just be clear on the language that we use? I think we have to very clear and distinguish.
That was I'm using. You guys don't use what.
No, I'm talking about Islamic terrorism. I'm talking about terrorism from the heart, which effectively comes from this demonic ideology and this regime, which is unfortunately attacking the West. We have to be careful with that. I don't think we can paint a brush over every single Muslim. I think it's unfair to do that. Let's just be careful with the language. That's all I'm saying.
Well, once again, I just said it has nothing to do with this regime. Before this regime came up 1979. Before 1979, how many Jews were killed by Arabs and Muslims? In 1921, 1923, 1933, I believe, 1947. There was no fucking Islamic Republic of Iran.
Answer you that. Let me answer you. I know what. And you don't let me.
Islam in general is it's not even a religion, it's a cult. Muslims are more pagans than pagans. Like, Muslims do the same thing the fucking pagans did before Islam. They do the tawaf 7 times around Kaaba. They kiss the black stone. Pagans did all of this. It's a fucking cult. They want to kill everybody who's not Muslim.
That's like every religion.
Everything. If you're not, you're gone. You're boom shakalaka. You're like chop chop in pieces.
Dude, I was in Muslim countries all the time. What the hell are you talking about? I'm atheist.
I'm not talking about you.
show here.
Sorry, yeah, no, talk. Sorry.
So let us go out then. You don't have respect for others.
Just go ahead, Nona. Just go ahead. Get your shot there.
Just go ahead.
How unrespectful Nona is.
Yeah, she was, I don't know.
Okay, so, you know, I'm just going to ask.
Don't talk about Nona like that.
I'm just going to ask Moshe a question. So, do you believe that Israel and Palestine, they were so close to a two-state solution around 2005?
Well, yeah, I mean,
I don't think so.
I mean, you know, part of that was IRGC. Yeah.
No, so, and the thing is, IRGC has been funding Hamas since
100%. Yeah.
And, you know, if IRGC wasn't intervening just to push out the ideology of Shia and, you know, Iran, Islamic ideology throughout the Middle East, you know, Palestine would have, you know, a separate state from Israel. At least Israel would have less burden, you know, and less worry.
IRGC, look, IRGC, they're Muslims too. They influence them, right? I'm not ignoring that shit all day long. Yes, of course. But Muslims in general are the way they are, bro. They don't need no fucking influence.
Listen, have you ever been to a Muslim country?
Oh, fuck yeah, I come from a fucking Muslim country.
Where?
I've been in UAE, I've been in Iraq, I've been in Turkey. So what's
Okay, which one was the worst?
Every single one of
UAE?
them. You know why? Because they're Muslims.
Okay, so you hate Muslims. You just hate Muslims.
I don't hate Muslims. I have proof for it.
No, you just hate Muslims. Because every single one of them is bad.
How many terrorists?
I know I'm interrupting your conversation.
Oh, come on, Monica, not now.
Hold on, Chris. Yeah, Monica, not now.
Okay. Make a programming note, sir, and check the admin list of Political Playhouse. We don't remove people from Political Playhouse. We don't. Unless
I didn't remove nobody, by the way.
I didn't say you did, Ocean. I'm letting a lot of people know that as much as Timothy and I appreciate their assistance in that room, we don't want to lose people who overcome, who compromise, and have opinions of life. What we do is we monitor if they're and if someone is doing incredibly bad, then we cancel it.
Thank you. So how many Muslim terrorist groups do they have? Which other group of people go to other countries and start raping people and start just killing people randomly for no fucking reason? Muslim. Oh, duh. Oh my God. This is all very funny, right? You don't see other people do these things. But Muslims. Because in Islam, it's perfectly okay to fucking rape a child. Because child marriages exist in Islam. Because that's what you follow. Your prophet was a pedophile, so you, in your book, in your ideology, if you're a Muslim, it's okay to do so. And you
Well,
want
I think a Muslim actually agree with that, but hey, that's your opinion.
but look, that's not my opinion. It's in your ideology.
It's not in mine. I'm not Muslim. I just told you.
I'm not talking about you.
But you're saying you the whole time.
It's in the entire Islam. The entire Islam is all about.
Dude, I am. Okay, can I talk a bit? Can I talk a bit about my background? So
Yes,
I might just.
you're not Muslim. I apologize if I call you Muslim.
No. I'm okay with being called Muslim. You know, I'm Druze. Okay, I'm from Syria, like originally. Yeah, and you can bet your ass I hate terrorism. You know, and for all that's worth, you know, some of my family members would not have survived the massacre without Israel. You know, but to be fair as well, you know, if you want the region to flourish and to like prosper, I think you need to be fair to Muslims. You know, that they're not all terrorists. That I would think also their ideology that most Muslims are ideological. To be honest, I think most Muslims just gray and do their stuff, and then that's it. I don't think.
Yeah, but they also close their eyes to it too, though, right?
Everyone closes their eyes in the whole world.
No. How many Muslim nations there's child marriage is legal? How many? Huh?
Yeah, how many states in say allow that?
They close their eyes on it.
United States allow that as well, dude.
No, it doesn't.
More than 16 states.
No, it doesn't.
Allow child marriage.
In
13 years old.
what nation?
It's not even more than 60 states. What is he talking about?
It's 50 states.
More than 16. I said more than 60. 16.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking, but in what nations you cannot practice? Alright, buddy, I'm gonna go down. In what nation, Hasi? In what nations you cannot freely practice your religion?
I think many nations again. I'm not religious at all.
Last religions are Muslim nations.
Like what? Okay. But let's admit something. While we're at it, Malaysia is
Which Muslim nation is the most amazing right now?
most amazing right now.
Like
Indonesia.
they're doing amazing in a possible way.
I think Malaysia are doing very well. Singapore as well. Sorry.
No, honestly.
You agree with me?
I think.
I shouldn't have that conversation with you. 19, is there anything you want to say?
I think.
I was gonna say something, but then I just looked, and probably see what you saw.
There is something that I want to mention, Ocean. So, as you said, there are only about 10 million Jews in Middle East.
I don't believe 19 because of the night hours that society wasn't in one like a night.
Okay.
Well, no, it's all right. Anybody that's willing to participate. I just look at. I don't look at certain countries though as like the staple Muslim situation and stuff like that. I mean, we can look at majority Muslim countries like Indonesia who don't have like the same conflicted, regime, ideologies as like the other ones and stuff like that. So I don't know where we like kind of staking and stuff at.
But like, do you think Morocco, for example? Do you like Morocco
No,
or Tunisia? So you hate just Arab countries?
I don't hate them. I just don't like them.
Okay, so you don't like you like Indonesia?
Yeah, I like.
Okay, so you like Asian countries, East Asian countries. You don't like Arab countries.
Honestly, the problem is Arab Muslim nations in general, Islam is just against freedom and humanity. Is against everything.
But you're trying to racialize the group.
It's just like they're just against it, bro. Like, how can you ignore it? Like, I'm not talking this out of my ass. It's in their law. It's in their religion. Every way you want to look at it.
So that.
Wait, can I ask you? Do you deny like the Arab hierarchy that goes on in Arab country?
What hierarchy?
The Arab hierarchy, like Arabs are on top. Because it's their situation, it's their way. They're better than all the Muslims because they're the ones that started Islam. That whole thing.
I think